Hey, does a network error network error failed to initialize. Update configuration 3013. Does that mean anything to anybody? I like started at Mahjong Soul and then it was like loading in and it said checking for data updates. And then it hit me with this error message. Is Mahjong Soul under maintenance right now? Sounds like an error. Yeah, I figured. They call it Maintenance Monday. No, it's not under maintenance. Okay. Is it just broken for me? Because I hit confirm because it gives you two options. It says cancel and confirm, and I hit confirm earlier and it made the game crash. What happens if I hit cancel? The game also crashes. Very cool. Okay. Very cool. Thank you. Let's open this again and see what happens. I don't know why it's doing this. This is a new one. This is a new one. You're sure it's not under maintenance? And it's not like down or anything? Like there aren't like other people who are like, can anybody else not log into Mahjong Soul? Very strange. Oh, okay, never mind, we're good. Looks like we're good. Okay, yeah, looks like we're good. Very strange. Very strange to run into the same error twice in a row. Okay. Looks like we're good. Looks like I think we're okay. Yeah. We're good. Oh boy, okay, hold on. No! Hello, sorry. Be quiet game. I'm trying to start up the music. Be quiet. There we go. Sup, Eggy, Doomjury. Hello, Momo. Hold on, I'm gonna turn down my music because I will go insane if it is this loud. Then let me turn back up on your end. Here we go. Logged in right now? Okay. Well, let's see. Let's go somewhere where you can see me. But yes, welcome, Momo. Thank you for the raid. For those who are not familiar, I am NiceEggy. I am nice, and I'm an Eggy. And today we are zhonging, but we also do other things sometimes as well. I promise we do things other than zhong. But yes, good evening to Daedric, and good evening to Jake, and good evening to Elazu, and good evening to Panis, and good evening to Counterteamer, and to Penboo, and to Uphill, and to Bagel Post, and to Lavirin, and to and to Archx. Nice and good. Nice and good. Nice and good. She's lying, we never do other things. Look, I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. I'm trying. I mean, I guess Mahjong is the one thing that I do consistently. I promise I do other things as well, though. I play Zelda sometimes. I promise I will get back to that this week. Last week was... I feel like every week that I don't play Zelda, I'm like, I'm sorry, last week was a weird week, but like, it's been a weird week for like 3 weeks in a row now. They're calling it Majora Monday. We finished Majora's Mask already. It's gonna be... It's Ocarina of Time all Wednesday. Allegedly. You're trying and we appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, I guess last week I did do something different. Ocarina of Tuesday. No, it's gonna be Wednesday. It's gonna be Wednesday. I don't know. I'm like trying to think of other things to do on stream lately, because it's not like there aren't other games. It's just that like, I feel like I should do things other than just gaming, you know? But yeah, Wind Waker Wednesday. I'm playing Ocarina. I'm playing Ocarina. Stop trying to make this work. Ocarina of the day after Tuesday. But yes, I don't know. Today I was thinking, because I was like, I should get, because I don't know. I feel like lately, I'm like, man, maybe it wouldn't hurt to have a driver's license, even if I do not really have a car to practice with. But then I'm like, I don't know. What if I just like do a practice driver, like a practice written test? Because like where I live, right, there's like multiple levels to driver's licenses. So the first one is just like a written test. So I'm like, I need to do a stream where I just study for the written test. I'll do like a practice test on stream. But then like, because I know all of you are all from different places, that probably all have like slightly different driving laws, then you guys can all argue about whether... whether my province's driving laws are the correct ones or not. Wind Waker will be in 2028. Look, okay, I need to figure out some way to get it played. Because, like, I know they added GameCube games to the Swimp store, the Nintendo Swimp store, but only for...
EX Ponric just bloomed.
Thank you, Ponric. Thank you. For 7 months. Thank you. Thank you for blooming. But yeah, so they have Wind Waker, but only on Switch 2. Only on Switch 2. So I know there are other ways to play Wind Waker for stream. I just need to figure out how to set them up and figure out how my computer will deal with them. I still need to install that new processor. I still need to get that done. Do they have Twilight Princess 2? I don't think they do. But I could be wrong. Hold on, let me check. I don't think they do. Switch to GameCube games. Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics. Maybe they added it when I wasn't looking. Please show me... I'm not trying to download it. I don't have a device to download it to. I just want to know what games it has. What are the games? May I see a list of the games? Ah, here is the games. Okay, featured games. Chibi Robo, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, F-Zero GX, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon XD, Soul Calibur 2, which for some reason has Link in it. That's the one with Link in it, right? Okay, yeah, they don't have, it looks like they don't have Twilight Princess, but they do have Wind Waker. But yeah. Twilight Princess runs pretty well on some pretty rotten potatoes somehow. Again, the question when it comes to streaming games, I think, is just that, like, it's not just can my computer run it, it's can my computer run it on top of all the other stuff it already has to run to make a stream work. So, like, is this going to run on top of, like, OBS? Is this going to run on top of YouTube Studio? Is this going to run on top of, like, anything else I happen to have open? So that's the question. Yeah, the Switch is better because if your computer crashes, the game is safe. That's true as well. But I would have to get a Switch 2, which is expensive. So, I do plan on getting Tomodachi Life, though. But that one's still for, like, normal Switch. I say normal as if the Switch 2 is, like, some, like, unusual aberration. Normal Switch. Yeah, oh, you guys have the Switch 2. I have the normal Switch. Sorry, I have a normal console. I'm sorry, like, you got the fancy rich people console, but I have the normal console. It's normal. Normal. But, yeah. The Switch, but for the poor. Games for the poor. Games for the poor. Just be fluent in Japanese and import the region locked version. I feel like with how much it... I know that, like, the Japanese-only version's cheaper, but, like, I feel like with the price it would cost to import a Japanese-only Switch 2, it would just even out. I feel like it probably just it would even out. Normal Switch and Tiny Tim Switch. Switch for the poor. Switch for the poor. Consoles for the poor. Can you spare a crumb of video game, sir? Spare a crumb of Nintendo? No, I think... Actually, I don't know. Do you guys think the Wii U would be, like, Switch for the poor? Is that the Wii U? Because I feel like, I don't know, is the Wii U old enough? The Wii U is like, what, like 10 years old now? Almost over 10 years old? Like, is the Wii U... Because you know how, like, sometimes you have, like, a thing is new, and then it becomes outdated, and then it becomes retro. So when it's outdated, it's cheaper. But once it's retro, it's expensive again. So has the Wii U hit that third point in the cycle? Have we hit that point yet? Has it been enough time? Or are the Wii U still inexpensive? Not that I would plan to get one, but... Egg, hello Azurshot, good evening. Yeah, Wii U is 2012. Really? I don't know why I thought it was 2014. I guess maybe 2014 was probably around the time that, like, I met somebody for the first time who had one. I don't know why I thought it was later. Not quite, but the 3DS is there and it's evil. Yeah. It's gonna be retro in like 4 years. Wait, how old do you guys think something needs to be retro? Cause like, okay. Do you guys, to me, the DS is retro, but the 3DS is not. But maybe some may disagree with this opinion. I heard 15 years? 15 years sounds about right, I guess. 15 years could be, yeah, 15 years. The official Retronauts policy is 10 years equals retro, I don't make the rules. 10 years feels a little short. 10 years feels a little short, because, like, by that logic... I mean, I guess maybe 10 years works for games, actually. I think it works for individual games. I don't think it works for consoles. Because by that logic, the Switch is about to become a retro console, which is probably not correct. It probably doesn't count, you know? I divide retro and modern games from the general vibes for the most part. I think the early PS3 era games are more retro since they feel like old PS2 games. Yeah. I guess also too, like, I feel like some DS titles feel more retro than others. Like, but I feel like that almost becomes a question of, like, art direction, right? Because, like, sometimes it feels newer and sometimes it feels older. Yeah, when did it from the 50s first become retro? Probably back in, like, the 80s. Overwatch and Pokemon Go are some of my favorite retro classics. Yeah, I'm a retro gamer. I've played Undertale. Yeah, it's like Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2. One has some odd choices that makes it feel more outdated, and then Uncharted 2, but they're from the same console. Yeah, I guess that's true. But what was the PS3 again? Like, PS4... Because I know that Persona 5 was like one of the last big releases for the PS3, right? And even then, most people I think by that point have played it on... They played it on PS4 instead. Please don't hurt me like that. Hello, Beba. Let's cause Beba as much pain as possible. We're gonna call Persona 5 a retro game. Yeah. Logging onto my retro MMOs World of Warcraft and EverQuest 1 and 2 and Fantasy are Star Online Bloopers. Yeah, I'm a retro gamer. I've played Undertale. You know, I played all the Ace Attorneys. I've played, what else was big 10 years ago? I've played all the Professor Layton games. Well, actually, no, not all of them, technically, but... Is Candy Crush retro gaming now? Okay, I also think that, like... I feel like the existence as well of, like, live service type games has also kind of messed with that. Because, like, technically, Genshin Impact is what, like a 5-year-old game? Almost a 6-year-old game? But, like, obviously, it's still active, it's still getting updates. So, like, at what point do we say that, like, something is a retro game, right? Ace Attorney is 25 years old this year. Yeah, 10-year-old live service love that becomes retro during its active life cycle. Yeah, like, guys, is Fate Go retro? Is Fate Go retro gaming? Is Rainbow Six Siege retro? Is Bang Dream retro? Not quite yet, I don't think. Retro Gems Subway Surfers. Well, I don't know. I think that there's like an era of mobile games that I feel like is soon gonna be considered retro. Like, you guys remember, oh, what was it called? Temple Run, like the one where you were like a guy that was like running away from a rock and you had to like rotate him so that he would like and jump over stuff so that you could keep running away from the boulder. Yeah, I feel like that is about to be considered retro. I'd probably say modern games at this moment will start being retro once gaming is almost exclusively VR. We some have some other similar progress. I don't know. I wouldn't bank on I don't know. As somebody who does not use VR and has no plans to use VR in the near future, I'm skeptical of claims that everybody's going to be using VR in the future. Yeah, I remember Temple Run. Yeah, like there's a whole era of like Temple Run. I guess Subway Surfers kind of counts as that. But like there's a lot of other like mobile games that became really big. Like what was it? Like 2048, I think was one. What was that game Doodle Jump? My orthodontist office had an iPod Touch with that on it, so I associate it with pain. Wait, hold on. Why did your orthodontist office have an iPod Touch? Like that specifically. Yeah. Yeah, once the games of today don't feel like they're modern anymore, it would probably be retro. Yeah. I guess maybe it's gonna become more of like a trend thing. Like, it's gonna be less, because I feel like up until now, a lot of it has been like technology, right? Like, we associate low poly stuff with old things because at the time that was the best that the computers could handle. Whereas I feel like as graphics kind of become just generally more advanced across the board, I guess like at that point then it's going to become about like trends in art style, right? Or trends in like storytelling or genres of gameplay and such. No maintenance? No, I'm logged in right now. Okay, yeah. I'm in now too. We'll get started soon once the ad break is done. My dad loved Sonic Adventure when he was a kid. This is a lie, but it's chronologically plausible. I mean, I guess we're getting into like the first generation of parents who are old enough to have played Like, they're both young enough to have played video games as a kid, but old enough to have children. That's strange. They also had the N64, but all that he had was a demo cartridge, so by year 2 of Braces, I was a master at Mrs. Pac-Man and Tony Hawk Skate. Like, when you think AAA game, you already paint yourself a very specific thing you will have. Yeah, I guess, yeah. The difference is between indie devs and AAA games. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like even the idea of having, like, indie devs versus AAA also... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that also feels like something that, like, is a thing that kind of got invented over time, and then... Like, even that as a concept feels like it might come and go, you know? But yeah, video games have been around for like 50 years. Yeah, I guess like the first ones technically with like arcades would be like 7... Like, that was like the 70s, right? I think the first ones. And then people didn't really have home consoles until like at least several years later, but... Hello, Boothberry, good evening. Can indie games become retro? Absolutely. I just think we need more time to pass. Like, Stardew Valley is what, like 10 years old now? Stardew Valley came out in, was it 2016, I think? Yeah, it had to be 2016, because I remember when I played it. I remember, yeah, so it must have been, yeah, 2015 or 2016, right? So, like, yeah, is Stardew Valley gonna become retro? But also Stardew Valley uses like a pixel art style, so I feel like that already... Yeah, it got released 2016. Yeah, I think it didn't really super take off later. I found out about it because I had a friend at school who was playing it. Actually, the first thing I ever learned about Stardew Valley, because my friend was telling me about, you know, like the glitch where, who was it? There was one character where if you gift her an amethyst, she, for some reason, the line that she says is the line that's supposed to go with food. So you give her an amethyst and she's like, thanks, this looks delicious. And like, I guess the devs just thought it was funny enough that they just like kept that line in there, even though it made no sense for it to be there. So yeah, that was the first thing I learned about Stardew Valley, actually. Like, I bought Stardew at launch and I feel my bones disintegrating. It's been 10 years. Undertale is 11 years old this fall. Anything else I need to make you feel old about? I promise this also does damage to me, but I figure if I'm gonna take damage, I might as well share it with everybody else. Yeah. Just as retro can get confusing, people don't entirely realize how old the oldest millennials are, or the gaming kid bracket of Gen X. Well, I think it's because, like, I feel like the word millennial, we've been using the word millennial just to mean young people for, like, a long time, right? You're right that, like, the oldest millennials are, like, 40. But I feel like it's, like... Like, Like, I feel like... Yeah, because you know how people seem to talk? Like, sometimes you'll see people talking like millennials are still, like, in high school and college, and it's like, oh boy, no, that hasn't been true for a while. Yeah. Katamari's 40 years old. Nice try. Nice try. Nice try. You're not fooling me. Tomodachi Life 2 is negative 10 days old. Unk status confirmed. Oh no, the kids who aren't born yet are missing out. Zelda is 40 years old. Well, okay, that one I think it might actually check out. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. Yeah, oldest is 45 this year. I'm 1 year over a different way to calculate it. Yeah, I know generations are fake, but like, again, we have to... They're fake, but also real, right? The kids who had Nintendos while toddlers and too dumb to know the controllers unplugged are 43. Egg generation is 40 years old now. Well, okay, actually, no. I need to find out. Oh, what? There's got to be a way. There's gotta be a way to find out. I'm sure there's gotta be an analytics, right? There's gotta be a way to know how old the average eggplant is. Like, what is the usual age demographic of this? There's gotta be a way to find that out. Oh god, no. Maybe Twitch doesn't keep that information. Because it tells me, okay, people who are, like, where they're coming in from. I'm seeing, yeah, I'm seeing new versus returning, views by platform, by location. Man, yeah, it doesn't show me by age. I think location is the only one. Yeah, time for a poll. Time for a poll. Let's say, okay, we're doing this manually. We're doing this manually. Okay. Age demographic. You have to answer this seriously. You have to answer this seriously. I'm assuming that everybody here is an adult, so I think I'll probably just start with the 18 to 24 demographic. So 18 to 24, I'm gonna put in like 25 to 35. I can have up to 5 options, I think. 25 to 35, 36. I'll put in 36 to 50, I guess. And then 50 plus, I guess. Let's set that for like, I don't know, 3 minutes. You're not allowed, but you're not allowed to lie. You're not allowed to lie. I'm predicting everyone's gonna pick 50 plus. Everyone's gonna pick 50 plus, and then I'm gonna be back where I started. Let's see. Who picked 50 plus? Old plants. Old plants. Eggy doing big data collection. Oh, this is for me. This is for me. I'm doing big data collection because everybody else won't. I'm doing collection because Twitch isn't doing it. Maybe YouTube does. YouTube probably does. Also, I'm pretty sure these are anonymous. I can't see who votes for what. Like, I can see how many people vote for each option, but like I can't actually see who's voting for what. The 50 plus vote was voted. Ancient rat. Ancient rat. No, my birthday's coming up next month, so I'm going to be Eggy age +1 soon. I don't know. I'm getting to the age where people who are about 5 years younger than you think you're very old. I think. And like, on one hand, it's like, okay, that shouldn't matter what they think because they're 5 years younger than me. But also, I don't know, it kind of matters, doesn't it? It kind of matters. Like, I'm old enough that, like, if Eggy from 5 years ago looked at where I was now, she would go, ugh. That's how old I was. That's how old I am. None of this matters. None of this matters. I mean, we're all gonna be old eventually. And if you're not going to be old, then that's a bigger problem, really. But... yeah. Yeah. YouTube does collect age demographics. Okay, I guess I can probably... could I try and look on YouTube? I don't know if I can... Let's see. It's probably in, like, YouTube... It's probably buried somewhere in YouTube Studio. Let's see. Channel dashboard. It's analytics, I'm assuming? Audience. Okay. Audience. Okay, so most of people watching is new viewers, so that's nice and good. Let's see. Most of you are watching on a computer. Good to know. Age and gender. Not enough demographic data to show this report. Okay. Like I said, everything on YouTube, you need, like, YouTube, always need to have, like, a minimum threshold of something happening. Yeah. Watching on a computer equals 30 plus. Do the children not have computers? Surely the children must have computers. How else are they playing PC games? Surely. Some of them have laptops. How else do they go to school? I mean, do the younger demographics use more phones than PCs? Probably, actually. I know I'm joking, but, like, they probably... I imagine... I feel like for school, like... Okay, is anybody here super young? Is anybody here super young? I have a question for, the youth. The impression I'm under is that laptops and, like, computers are for work. But, like, when you're using technology for your own amusement, then usually it's phones or tablets. I teach. Okay. Can you confirm this? Is this... Am I onto something? Because I know a lot of schools do have laptops. Like, a lot of schools... Well, I don't know. I know some schools provide laptops, or they expect the kids to have them already. But, I use desktop for fun and laptop for work. Yeah, because, like, when I worked office jobs, usually I was given, like, I had a computer with, like, a keyboard and such. I can't imagine ever trying to do an office job on a tablet. Oh my god. Yeah, gotta do all things on the gaming rig. The phone is only for gacha and pictures of food. Don't know about young, but I tend to use my laptop for everything. I had a desktop, but my current laptop was an upgrade, and I needed one for college. Okay, yeah. Because, like, again, I use the desktop pretty much only for streaming at this point. But that's mostly because the laptop, like, the desktop, this desktop is not great. But, because I got an really old iPad. It's not super, super old, but, like, I got a pretty old iPad recently. But I feel like I've been using it for old person purposes. I got an iPad. I think it's, like, iPad 5. It's quite old, and I've just been using it, like, I'm reading ebooks on it. The other day I found out that, like, the app that I use for, like, ebooks also has magazines. And I was, like, looking through magazines to find recipes to make. Like, this is the old person machine. I'm probably gonna knit. The next time I knit, I'm probably gonna be using it to put the pattern. So I can look at the pattern while I'm knitting. This, like... Again, this is the old person machine. Yeah. Being old and putting together mid-range gaming computers for under $500 to use video card and no crypto mining burnout risk. But I know some have things like Chromebooks. Yeah, I like I said, I know that, like... Because, like, when I was in high school... so this was probably roughly a decade ago. I know that, like... We had Chromebooks, but the school typically didn't have one for every single student. Like, we weren't given Chromebooks, but there was always a cart with Chromebooks that, like, your teacher, I guess, could reserve for an afternoon if they're like, okay, class, we're doing an activity that requires computers for whatever reason. I think that, like, for some schools, like, at least at that time, I feel like the Chromebook cart kind of replaced the computer lab. So, like, if you had an activity that was, like, I guess if you needed a specific program, like, obviously, like, when I took, comp sci, like, we needed to learn to, like, edit videos and stuff. So, obviously, that you needed a specific program to do. So that was done at the computer lab. But, like, I feel like usually the Chromebook cart was like, yeah, if the teacher was like, okay, you're gonna go on this website and do this and that, then usually that was the Chromebook. But the thing is that the Chromebooks also were really bad. Like, they were, like, so non-functional that half the time, like, especially if it was a time-sensitive thing that the teacher wanted you to do, people would just pull out their phones and just look up stuff on that. Because it was legitimately faster than trying to do it on the Chromebook. It was so slow. Yeah. Using the iPad to buy your licorice all sorts. I don't know, does anybody have any other old people iPad activities? I don't have Facebook installed on it. I don't really feel like doing that. I'm trying to have as little social media as possible installed on the iPad. Like, I think the only one I have installed is, I have Discord, if that counts. I put Discord on the iPad. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I put on... I guess I have access... I use Twitter through the browser. But, like, that's the only... I think that's the only, like, social media I use on the iPad. Yes. Good evening, Taishi Laforêt. Good evening. Yeah. I didn't get an iPad until work gave me one because I didn't want to waste money on mobile devices. Same reason I and a lot of people rejected the Wii U. Looked too much like a tablet. I mean, I guess it depends, because to me, like, when I was a kid, like, having a tablet was, like, rich people nonsense. Like, having an iPhone was maybe not normal, but, like, you know, everybody knew at least one person with an iPhone. But, like, an iPad, no, that's rich people nonsense. If you're an iPad, then if you had an iPad, then either your parents were, like, working for Technology Incorporated, or they were, like, you know, you were a massive, wealthy, spoiled child. Like, that was kind of, until maybe later in high school, I think, I feel like that was, like, the big, like, rich people thing to me. Remember when, like, restaurants, I feel like also, too, there was an era where, like, a handful of restaurants started ordering on iPads, and people were like, whoa, future. You order on the iPad, and then they bring it to your table. Future. Were we talking about when the iPad was first released? When was that? Like 2012? Because I think I was still in elementary school when the first iPad was released. And I knew exactly one person who had one. And again, her parents worked for, like, Technology Incorporated. Like, they had big, important computer job. But I remember that she brought it in to, like, show the class. And I thought it was really cool how, like, when you flip the screen over, then, like, the image flips with it. I thought that was, like, the biggest thing ever. So cool. The screen is an inch thick and covered in grease. Future. It's a touch screen. You touch it. And then, like, it works like that. Future. iPad was 2010. Okay, yeah. So, because, I don't know, by the time I was in high school, I knew, like, a handful of people with iPhones. Like, they were still considered expensive, but they weren't, like, you know, a completely out there luxury item, you know? But I guess the first iPhone was 2007, so there was a bit more time. But, like, really, the iPad was just a big iPhone, really. I don't know why it felt so different. It's like, iPhone, normal. Big iPhone, that's rich people nonsense. I don't know why that was my logic. Maybe 2014 was a core memory tech year for you? I'm trying to think. I guess 2014 was when I got my first smartphone. Yeah, that was 2014. What, was it 2014? No, it was 2014. It was definitely 2014. Yeah, that was when I had my first, I was in high school, and that was when I got my first smartphone. Before that, I had an iPod Touch, but, yeah, that was first smartphone. So I guess maybe in a way that was important. But that's when the iPad Air 2 came out, but probably when some of the older gens were accessible and still sold. Yeah. They had the iPod Touch first before the iPad. And yeah, like, the iPod Touch was just a really small iPad. If I remember correctly, they did largely the same things. I don't know. I was using my iPod Touch to listen to K-pop largely. But no, yeah, my iPad is old people stuff now though. My phone is for phone stuff, and my desktop is for VTuber stuff, and my laptop is for visual novel gaming, and I guess general internet browsing, and the iPad is for old people stuff. That's how my devices are working. Maybe the PC will be for gaming. I would have to get a better chair though. Because that's the thing with the laptop, right? Is I can sit wherever I want in the house, more or less. But nope. If I want the PC, I gotta sit in the chair. Play Fata Morgana on the iPad. I think you can now. I think it's out for why did I say OBS? It's out for iOS, I think. I think a lot of visual novels actually you can play on iOS. Did you have an MP3 player? No. Well, does the iPod Nano count as an MP3 player? I did not have an MP3 player. I had friends in elementary school who had MP3 players. I had an iPod Nano. Or no, I had an iPod Shuffle. That probably counts. I had an iPod Shuffle. And then I got an iPod Nano because it was like my dad's old iPod Nano. And then I got an iPod Touch. Yeah, iPod Nano. I played a lot of solitaire on the iPod Nano. My sister actually kept the iPod Nano, and she brought it over a little while ago. And I like tried the solitaire on it again, and I'm like, how did I live like this? This is terrible solitaire. There's no undo button, but it still has that element of randomness to it. So basically, if you get a bad deck, you're just screwed. It was terrible solitaire. I don't know how I live like this. Was iTunes still mandatory? Yes. Yes. I had to buy things. Okay, actually, I bought things from the Apple Store, or I guess it was the iTunes Store at the time. However, I also, when I was a kid, I would, like, either buy CDs and import them, because you could do that on iTunes, right? So I would either buy CDs and import them, or I would borrow CDs from the public library and import the songs from that. So, I was not committing crimes. Technically that was crimes, probably. But, like, I was not downloading. I was not committing download crimes. I was committing library crimes. I think it does. I had a Shuffle, the Rio, the MP3 players, SanDisk. Yeah, I never had any other MP3 players, though. I think the iPod Shuffle was the first one. I remember, like, it's so weird how we, like, use things now, though. Because, like, before I got my own iPod Shuffle, I would have to, like, ask my mom to use hers. I would be like, hey, can I listen to music on your iPod Shuffle? And the thing is that I think from what I remember, I just, like, sat there listening to music. Like, that was the activity. That was the entertainment. It wasn't like, oh, I'll listen to music while I do something else. I would sit there with the iPod Shuffle in my hand. I didn't even clip it to anything. And I would just listen to music. I would just listen to the songs. And I think I even did that once I had my own iPod Touch. Or not iPod Touch, iPod Shuffle. It's like, yeah, just sit there and listen to music. Yeah, I want to use my old Sony MP3 player, but the battery's dead. What, did it use, like, a very specific charging cord that doesn't exist anymore, too? Hey, everybody gather around the radio. Our favorite cowboy audio drama is about to continue from its cliffhanger last week. I don't know why a British child would be saying that. That feels like a very American thing to say. Yeah. But yeah, no. I guess that was a thing. Remember when, Pete, maybe this isn't everybody, maybe this is just me, but it's like, remember doing one thing at a time? I feel like everybody nowadays does like minimum 2 things at a time. Like, remember doing 1 thing at a time? Mini USB, I can still plug it in, but I won't hold the charge. No! Yeah. Yeah, I remember doing 1 thing at a time. You would, like, sit down and watch a movie, and that's all you'd be doing. Maybe you'd be eating popcorn or something, but you just sit down and you watch a movie, and then the movie's done, and then that was the 1 thing you did. Yeah, I gotta be doing at least 2 things at a time. I feel lazy. She says it while I heal a dungeon in chat. Yeah, I remember doing. See, like, I imagine at least all of you are doing like 1 or 2 more things other than watching right now, right? Like, yeah, some of you guys might be doing 2, 3, maybe even 4 things. Yeah, imagine you only using 1 screen. Yeah, I say in front of my 2 monitors. You know what? Let's go do 2 things at once. Let's do 2 things at once. Let's do 2 things at once. Oh goodness. There we go. Let's zhong and talk and chat at the same time. It's not 67420. It's 58703. Stop. No, don't pin 67420. Okay, thank you. Hold on, I'm just gonna copy paste that into YouTube. You can't manifest 67420. Watch. Someday we're gonna get like a number with all of those numbers, but then it's gonna be like the wrong way around. It's gonna be like 42067 or something. Yes, 58703. Let's do 2 things at once. One day it'll be 67420. We have a 1 in 1,000 chance every time. I mean, I guess if you like just went into like join room and you just kept spamming like 67420, one of these days, eventually there would be a game with that with that room code. Inevitably it would happen, but you know. Yeah, whenever I get down to 1 monitor, I feel pain. Well, getting down 1 monitor is for like, that's when you're at work and your boss is watching you, right? Even actually no, hold on. When I worked at office, I had like 2 monitors. I had 2 monitors. Like, yeah, multiple monitors were at work since 2004. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't have a computer with 2 monitors. I don't think I had ever even used a computer with 2 monitors until like 2021, maybe? Like, I think when I was a kid, we always had 1 computer screen for our computers. Like, to me, having multiple monitors, I'm like, who has that space? I crave 2 monitors. It seems really nice. It is pretty useful. All right, who's stuck? Who's still in waiting room BGM? I don't know. Who's stuck? Is the game just gonna break over and over and over tonight? Oh, still in waiting room. Whoops. Sorry. Has it been going the entire time? Oops. Oops. Hi, chat and Eggy. Hello, Linkstorm. Good evening. There are people who do office jobs on a laptop with no external monitor. I know. Together, we can get them a better life. It might be me. I'm seeing you are disconnected, so I think we might have found our culprit here. Wait, are you in the game, Taishi? Is it working for you? I'm trying out Linux. Because it seems to think you're disconnected, which is very peculiar. Are you playing on purpose? Yeah. Still on waiting room BGM. Oh, wait, what? I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm relaunching. Okay. Ah, I forgot to play Mahjong. Here we go. Sure. But yes, we will do many things. I'm alive. Oh, yeah, I see you now. I see you now. Yippee! Computers are working again. Computers are working again. Streaming. Live stream. Eggy in real time. Virtual YouTubing. I mean, I guess all YouTubing is kind of virtual if you think about it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Would IRL VTubing, like non-virtual YouTubing? I think that's just called performance. I think that's just being on stage and performing. Literally the V. VTubing. VTubing. VTuber. Happy New Year? Happy New Year. Hello. Atamon, konnichiwa. It's Easter. Flesh tubing? Weird. I don't know. I would say, like, if you're online, you're virtual. If you're online, it's virtual, right? Like, when people went to school on Zoom and stuff, they call it, like, virtual classroom. Even though everybody there was, I mean, I guess maybe there's nothing stopping you from using a VTuber avatar. But everybody was using their real face, and it was still... It's okay. I mean, honestly, I didn't watch any live streamers until I found out about VTubing. Like, you know, I obviously had YouTubers I would watch. But, like, live stream... Didn't happen. I'm glad you left. I will endeavor to do that more. I will try to do that more. But yeah, like Flesh... Like, I guess there's a few more live streamers that aren't VTubers that I follow now that I didn't follow before. But yeah, I feel like, before VTubing, I just had, like, no interest in watching live streams. Let's Plays? That's true. That's true. I did watch some Let's Players. I did watch... Not a ton. I did watch Markiplier back in the day. I guess that was sort of like proto video game streaming, right? But... VTuber. Yeah. On Saturday, a cosplayer I enjoyed was live for the first time since I was a fan. Literally the first word I hear out of her mouth was, "I hate Americans." It's like, okay. Was it like an Instagram live type thing? Because that's another thing that I think eludes me. Is like almost every platform that does video, right, can do live streaming as well at this point. But like, I feel like the vibes between, it's very different, right? Like, watching a YouTube stream or a Twitch stream is very different from people who do like Instagram or TikTok lives. maybe it's like the device, because most people are live on Instagram on their phone, right? Compared to people who are like Twitch and YouTube, who are mostly going to be streaming from a computer. I guess there's just things you can do with one that you can't do with the other. I follow one Flush streamer and it's the first I know IRL. I know Sun-chan? Yeah. But yeah. I guess maybe the two categories aren't... Ah! Oh, wait. Not my problem. Not my problem. If anything, this will probably put me in third place. Oh, wait, no, I'm already in second. Oh, yeah, third place. Okay. Yeah. No, Flesh Tuber. I feel like the categories are a little less separate than they used to be, right? Because I feel like you now have some streamers who started as one, but will now just kind of go back and forth between them. Just based on what they feel like that day. I think it's not... I don't know. I think constantly about the future. I've been thinking a lot about the future of VTubing this week. I'm like trying to like figure out, I'm like, okay, I think we're in a bit of a lull. Like, what is the future gonna look like? There will be a VTuber renaissance, what's it gonna look like? I'm like trying to prepare myself in advance. I feel like there's VTubers, Flesh Tubers, and streamers that don't use any avatar. Yeah, well, oh yeah, that's true. Like faceless streamers. I feel like that's less common than it used to be, though, but maybe I'm just out of the loop. The future of VTubing is eggs. Well, no, okay, okay. I'm going to be insane for a moment and draw unnecessary comparisons. But I was thinking recently about how in like mid to late 2010s, like Vocaloid was also in a similar kind of lull, right? Where it's like, it's not like VTubers were, or sorry, it's not like Vocaloid was like dying, but like there wasn't exactly like things that were being made, like the novelty had kind of worn off. There was new things happening, but they didn't feel as like big and revolutionary as they did before, kind of thing. Yeah, the hype was on the low. Yeah, and like a lot of the music that was coming out, it was like a lot of just popular people and popular voice banks continuing to be popular. But then I think like the 2020s has kind of been like a Vocaloid renaissance, right? VTubing had the pandemic in its active phase, even if COVID is still running. Okay, but like the comparison I'm trying to draw, right, is that the VTuber or the Vocaloid renaissance was not only brought on by COVID. There were other factors that probably would have still caused it to happen, even if COVID just had straight up not occurred. That's why I'm thinking. So I'm trying to think of like what is, you know, I think VTubing the market is maturing now. We have to see how it changes and grows now. Yeah, I started with PNG, then I went to Kizuna Eye 3D, and then to Live 2D. Yeah. This is not very good playing. I'm going to eat breakfast. See you soon. Ah. What are you having for breakfast? Ah, Nihongo. 日本語全部忘れました。今週、また日本語の授業が始まります。だから多分、もう一回日本語を覚えます。Yeah. Yeah. またね。The next boom might depend on AI tolerance. Well, okay, here's what I'm thinking about. Because I think one of the things that's happened with Vocaloid more recently is that, because like Vocaloid, like music with virtual singers is not special anymore, right? It's not special anymore. You speak Japanese well? Ah, arigato. Getting Nihongo Jozu'd. But yeah, like I remember, because like yeah, it's like Vocaloid as like a virtual singer is not special anymore, right? Like there's tons of software that can do that, both in like the typical like voice synth sense, but also in like, you know, there's stuff like just straight up AI music now, right? So people are like, okay, what makes Hatsune Miku special? And then the answer we've landed on is, well, she's Hatsune Miku, right? So I think I find that recently there's been a lot more of a return to like kind of character. Ooh! Kind of character and character and narrative-oriented songs, if that makes sense. I feel like there's been a return to that, because people are like, okay, it's the character that kind of makes Vocaloid special, right? Compared to any other form of AI music. Or at least AI voice music, right? So I feel like something similar is going to happen to VTubers, where people are like, okay, what really differentiates VTubers from anything else? And whatever answer we land on is going to be what determines the direction, right? Authentic English is pleasant to listen to. Is it? I feel like English is not... Maybe it's just because I speak English. I think everybody thinks their language is less pleasant to listen to. Persona? I feel like there's going to be a divide. This is my insane person prediction for the future of VTubing. There's going to be a divide. There's going to be a divide between... Like, there's going to be one branch of VTubing that's going to split into, like, extreme kayfabe. Like, extreme kayfabe is going to make a comeback. And then... there's going to be another route that's, like, just the opposite of that. Like, it's, like, VTubing for some people is just going to be, like, you know, me, but anime. And then the other half is going to be like extreme kayfabe. We have no idea what these people look like. They play a character entirely. I think that there's going to be kind of a return to that. I'm a little worried because there's a section of VTubing that's like, I'm an AI, but just a person with a voice changer. How long before just clanker streaming? I mean, I guess it's already Neurosama, but here's the thing. I actually don't think that Neurosama represents the future of VTubing. I think Neurosama is an interesting and neat experiment, but I don't think she represents anything other than herself. Because the thing with Neurosama is that there have been other people who have tried to come up with their own AI VTuber, and none of them have gotten as popular. Like... I guess Neurosama just got there first, and no one has really been able to replicate that success. Yeah. Neurosama's basically Vito the streamer buddy. That's the other thing I think with Neurosama, right? Is because Neurosama is... she's not trying to replace humans, right? But she's kind of like a... she's only ever used with human streamers, right? Like, and no one is under the impression... like, Vito has streams all the time where he's, like, doing, you know, maintenance and training and technical stuff with her, right? So I think, in a way, she does just feel like a project rather than, like, something that's going to, like, replace human streamers. But yeah. Does the West care about extreme kayfabe? Well, I think another thing that I'm also predicting for the future, and again, this is something that's coming from looking at Vocaloid, is more specialization per language. Because that's, like, I think another thing that's been unique about the new era of Vocaloid is that the English community is a lot bigger, and also a lot more... like, there's a bigger variety of genres, I guess, right? There's a bigger variety of songs, but also it's big enough that it can kind of support itself separately from Japanese communities, right? So nowadays you might have, like, a song in English by an English Vocaloid producer, and it will have, like, you know, millions of views, but also nobody in Japan has ever heard of it, right? So I think because things are so big, I think that might happen with VTubing as well, where, but like there are still crossovers, right? There is still crossovers. But yeah, I mean, the big media can stand on its own, like Dragon Ball Z, Demon Slayer, Uma. But yeah, I don't think, also though, does the West Care Book stream kayfabe, they follow themselves hating on idols? I don't think that's entirely true. I don't think that's entirely true. Like, I think people seem to be... I think if people are predisposed to already liking anime, they can be predisposed to already liking idols. Also, K-pop is still huge right now. K-pop is still huge. Ah, yes. Honestly, I didn't even know there were Western Vocaloid composers. Yep, there's a whole bunch. Again, a lot of this has popped up in the past 5 years or so. I mean, there were definitely English-speaking Vocaloid producers before, but I think that another thing that I think has also brought on a lot of changes in Vocaloid has been just general technological progression. The quality of English language voice banks, or honestly of voice banks in any other language other than Japanese, is way better than it used to be. Like they've done some magic. I think it was Synth V that kind of got the ball rolling, but some kind of magic has happened, and now you can have a voice bank that can sing in English and is comprehensible and pronounces things the way you want it to. So that was like a thing that was like, you know, I think that was one big hurdle before that's been cleared, and now there's just so much more coming out in English. Oh man, I'm having a bad time with these first 3 tiles. It's even bigger now. McDonald's has a K-pop Demon Hunter meal, other K-pop meal collab stuff too. Yeah, like... people, like... if people can get into K-pop idols, I think people can figure out idol VTubers, you know? It's not like it didn't happen before. Like, people were into Love Live. Yeah, imagine AI had a lot to do with that. Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't like, again, I think this has been going, like, I can't remember when Synth V first launched that feature, but I think it was probably like 2020 or 2021. Essentially, the problem that existed before was that if you wanted to have a voice bank in another language, you had to have somebody who was like, had perfect pronunciation in that language to record it. Because a lot of, there was English voice banks earlier on, but the problem is that a lot of them were like English versions of Japanese voice banks that were recorded by the Japanese voice provider. Because there was like Miku English, I think there was, Luca had an English voice bank, pretty much a lot of the major voice banks had like an English version, but the problem is that the voice bank would only be as good as the voice provider was at speaking English. So if the voice provider had a heavy accent, then the result would be a voice bank that was very, very difficult to understand, right? So that was kind of the state. And there was some English language original voice banks. Like technically the first Vocaloid voice banks ever were like Leon and Lola, which were English. But I think English in general is also just like a really annoying language to try to synthesize voices in compared to Japanese. Yeah, they would need all the English phonemes. Yeah, it's really, yeah, a question of phonemes. Because the thing is that, like, Japanese is also incredibly phonetically consistent. Like, ga is always going to be pronounced ga, regardless of what other syllables it's next to, right? And, like, obviously you have to account for, like, emphasis and stuff, but, like, I think that makes it an easier language to try and make a voice bank for compared to English, where yeah, compared to English, which is like way less phonetically consistent. Nah. Ooh. Good game. Well, it's easy for you to say good game. It's easy for you to say good game because you started right after me. Or you got further ahead of me. I guess you didn't come in first. GG. Easy for you to say. You won. But yes, thank you for playing. Rest in peace to Science McLovin. But yeah. Alright, easy goes. I'm a good sport even when Eggy sent me to the Shadow Realm. Everybody will be nice and good. Good game, forgot I was in the YouTube chat. Juggling. Juggling. But... yeah. I'm on the Smart Falcon grind. Oh yeah, you finally got the Uma you wanted. I was listening to Kasane Teto's English phoneme file today, and there were like over 500 files in there. Yep. Well, probably because she has an English voice bank now too. So. But yeah, because I remember like before, like Gumi English, I think, was not bad. But like, yeah, Miku English, honestly, some of the voice banks, the English voice banks for like Japanese like Vocaloids, they were like difficult enough to understand that some people would just give up on using the English voice bank and they would just like katakana the they would just use the Japanese voice bank, but then just like try and make it phonetically English. Yeah. Aren't the big English songs just using Spanish? What? I know there are Spanish voice banks. I've never heard of popular English songs for Vocaloid using Spanish. The Spanish banks? There were Spanish banks. I don't know if a lot of them were using them, though. I don't really know how many people were actually using them. I know they existed, but yeah. I miss some of the weirdness of older Vocaloid. Honestly, I think, okay, this is my other prediction for the future of VTubing. There will continue to be people who are going to be doing, you know, very polished work. The same way that for Vocaloid, there are people who are doing like very polished sounding songs. But I think there's also going to be another split of like very polished versus jank is going to make a comeback. I think that's my prediction for the future. In the same way that there are people who like intentionally make their Vocaloids sound crunchier or like intentionally make things look worse. I think that there's going to be like a return to like the scuff of like 2020 VTubing. I think that VTubers of the future will be like intentionally channeling like Hoodie V-Roid kind of looks. And it will look different. It will not look the way it did in 2020, but it will be kind of like, I guess it's like, you know, what's the thing they say about how like a medium's flaws will become the most notable thing about it. Like the same way that like nowadays people will like intentionally add like, you know, like they'll intentionally try to make something look like an old VHS that's falling apart, right? Or like they will intentionally do like, you know, poor quality audio cassette audio, right? So I think that will be I think that will be something that will also happen in the future. I think there will be people who will try to channel kind of that kind of jank, nobody really knows what they're doing vibe of early VTubing. I think that will get channeled into the future. What exactly which parts are going to get channeled? It's hard to say. Like, are we going to get people making like Hoodie V-Roid like kind of look-in models on purpose? Or will people like intentionally give their models stiffer rigging? Maybe it'll be like an art style thing, like maybe like more limited eye and mouth movements, even if the computer and such, if the technology is capable of handling more. It's hard to say what it will be. Maybe it'll be more layout. Like maybe kind of like simpler backgrounds that are really just like VTuber plus chat with no frames or anything on, like, you know, background.png. Yeah. Were you making a CV voice bank for your custom voice bank, or were you doing for something more comprehensive? It was just CV. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to Utao, I have never successfully tuned a, what's it called? Like, CVVC. I've never successfully tuned anything other than a CV voice bank, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make anything other than a CV voice bank. VCV, that's the one that people like to use. I've never successfully tuned a VCV voice bank. It eludes me. So yeah, it was CV. I think Tumblr style art style walls might develop more as its own VTubing area for people that hate anime. Yeah, that seems to be something that, well, I mean, that's all kind of always been a thing of like people in like non-anime art styles. I think that might have had something to do with rigging though, because one thing I remember seeing in like the older days of VTubing is that there's certain things in certain designs that like are really hard. Like Live 2D just didn't cooperate with it, and it's not like the program was poorly suited for it. I think it's just that people hadn't quite figured out how to make it look good yet. Like for instance, like I think the reason why you didn't see a lot of like furries with Live 2D models is that like I think that like having a very pointy face does not work very well in Live 2D, or at the very least not with the methods people were doing at the time. Like I feel like one of the reasons why everyone is anime, it's partly because everyone likes anime and anime is cool, but like I think it also has something to do with the fact that like flat faces work a lot better in Live 2D compared to trying to like rig a nose from 3 different angles, you know? Like my nose is a dot. They don't really, unless you're trying to like do the thing where you rig like a full 180 degrees, it's not a problem at all, right? Compared to, you know, something with a bit more dimension to it. So I think that might be a reason why, like, again, everyone just kind of went with this for a while. Yeah, I don't even draw Eggy nose in my art, it's so insignificant. Yeah. It is a fact of anime art style to de-emphasize the nose. But I know that, like, you're right, in that kind of, like, Tumblr 2015 to 2018 kind of style, very much would emphasize noses. But I think we might be heading to a point where, like, you know, we have figured out the live 2D techniques to make that work, you know? It's very weird to see people in VTubing who hate anime and idols. Yeah, well, I think it's also... I guess it's one of those things where it's like VTubing kind of started very much linked to both of those things, but over time it's kind of become its own separate thing, right? Like, I can definitely see somebody who would be into one of those things, but not the 2 others, you know? And this might be a hot take, but I actually think that, that's fine. That's fine. I think it's actually okay to, like, as long as you're not being, like, mean and bad about it, like, I think it's actually okay to be interested in VTubing, but maybe not interested in idols. Or not be interested in anime. I think it's actually fine. I think there is enough room on the planet Earth for idol VTubers and non-idol VTubers and VTubers of all kinds. I think there actually is, this might be controversial, but I think there actually is room. There is room for everybody. There is room for everybody. I do enjoy doing your eyes. They're very fun to do with the layered light to dark. Yeah, it's the egg. It's the egg. How'd the tomato soup turn out? Oh, not bad. I think I'm gonna do it again. I bought more tomatoes today. I'm gonna try it again this week. Cause I think I screwed it up. Well, I didn't screw it up. It didn't taste terrible, but I added too much oil because I was doing a half recipe, but then when I was measuring out the oil, I completely forgot that I was doing a half recipe, so I used like, when I was roasting it, I was using like double the amount of oil that I should have, which meant that like I don't think it roasted quite as well as it should have. Also, I used a different kind of oil than the recipe called for because it called for olive oil, but I had to use canola oil because I was out of olive oil. But I bought more olive oil today, and I bought more tomatoes, and I bought more, bought another onion. I'm gonna do a full recipe this time instead of a half recipe. But yeah, no, it's, oh, wait, hold on. I need to check the expiry date on the heavy cream. I'm trying to remember when that expires. I might need to buy more heavy cream. But, yeah, it turned out okay, though. I think I can definitely improve on it, though. But yeah, harumph, I'm a streamer with an avatar, not a VTuber. Well, it's like how YouTuber used to mean one very specific thing, right? And now it just means anybody who makes videos on YouTube. And there are like, you know, a bajillion different genres of YouTube, right? Like, two people can both say, I'm a YouTuber, and make completely different kinds of videos, right? Like, the only thing they have in common is that they make videos, right? And yet VTuber still has this kind of specific connotation, right? Even though it's not really true anymore, necessarily. Because somebody who makes, like, video essays, and somebody who makes, like, Pokemon card unboxing videos, and somebody who makes ASMR, and somebody who makes makeup tutorials, all four of those people can all say, yeah, I'm a YouTuber, but, like, they don't really actually have that much in common. And I think VTubing will kind of become like that, too, right? Because, like, you can get 4 VTubers in a room, and they'll have nothing in common aside from the fact that they are all VTubers, right?
Oh.
But, yeah, I don't know. I am always thinking about future of VTubing. But, I don't know, I think I tried to have a conversation with some other people about it earlier. But I think a lot of people I know are too jaded about it, and I'm like, no, I need to... I need to be possibly unrealistically optimistic about it. I will be optimistic. Yeah, I can't doom-pill a Zoomer. I refuse to be doom-pilled. What is the impetus that led you to try to work out the future of VTubing? Largely I was thinking about it this week because of the Hollow Stars news. Because in a way, like, it does feel like the end of an era, I think, for, at least for Hololive. But at the same time, it's also like, again, it's hard to say which way anything will go from here, right? I refuse to be doomer about anything. On the other hand, Niji-san can do male streamers. They need to say silver. Yeah. Thank you for liking my joke. Thank you for liking my joke. I'm glad there's somebody around who enjoyed my joke. Hi, Eggy, go back to lurk. Enjoy lurking. But yeah, no. I think the thing is like, again, I don't think it's a question of like male versus female VTubers. Because I think a lot of people who are talking, like, as I was looking through tweets of people talking about like, oh, like the place of male VTubers in this VTubing, like, I think there's a lot of people who like, how do I say this? I think there's a lot of people who seem to see women as like one big like crowd, and like, yeah, there's generalizations you can make. I've made generalizations about like male viewers versus female viewers, right? But like, I think a lot of people are just like assuming that women are like some amalgamous thing that all are looking for one type of thing, and it's like, Yeah, I don't regularly watch any male VTubers. I think that's a personality thing, because even IRL, I have more women for friends than men. Yeah, well, I also think that, like, I think a lot of... I think a lot of guys who start streaming as VTubers, I think a lot of them started it because they were inspired by female VTubers. But I think that because a lot of people were trying to follow the same mold that, you know, female VTubers followed, it's inherently not really gonna work, right? Because like what works for one even like between like female VTubers in the same who are both females, right? Like for what works for one kind of person is not gonna work for another, right? So, but you didn't have woman viewers. Yeah, exactly. That's my problem. Yes. But yeah, I think male VTubers can get female audiences, though I haven't found the template yet. I think it's hard to say because I'm not sure there is a template. I guess, I don't know. Would you guys say that there's a template for what appeals to male audiences, do you think? Because I know the stereotype is that like men are easy to please and women are impossible to please. I know that's the stereotype. I don't think that's true because if that was true, then there would be like, we would have cracked the code. Like VTubing would be a solved game. You know? Let's Hollow Live. Nietzsche said he had a different template, as I noted that above. Yeah. But I also think, like, there's not every... Like, I guess there are, like, ways that you can appeal to, like, a large group of women, but, like, I think, you know, there are many women in the world, and they're looking for different things. And I think that, like, doing it one way is not the only way, right? It varies, but a lot of it really is that simple. Loud and raunchy. I mean, I think that's just more of like a attention-grabbing thing, though, right? You know, you know what's also weird, I think, is that we're kind of out. You remember how like a few years ago we were in the age of like loud equals funny, and I feel like now we're in the age of fast equals funny. That's not relevant to what we're talking about here. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah. Also, 80% of stream watchers being men. Yeah, that's true. Probably on certain platforms. Probably like I know on Twitch. I feel like Twitch is like, from what I've seen, does seem to have more male than female, like, just like in general. Like, not necessarily streamers, but just like accounts. There are more men with Twitch accounts than there are women. But on the other hand, I also think about like, again, not to drag K-pop back into this, but like, it's not like boy bands are dead. They're very much alive and well, and like many women like that. So it's not like women aren't interested in anything. Yeah. I miss American boy bands. I don't know. I would say American boy bands is something that feels dead to me right now, though. The US ran out of boy bands so hard that they had to like start importing them. I've never felt more content brain than when I saw an edited short of Drill DM doing the same bit I saw her do on stream, clipped from that moment, and it was funnier than live. I felt like this ain't right. Oh, like watching a... I mean, sometimes it just happens when you like watch a clip from that you were there for live. What streamers do you watch? You know what streamers your females friends watch, if any? I don't know, because like... Again, I can tell you what VTubers my friends watch, but those are mostly friends that I made because we watch the same VTubers, right? One thing I have noticed is that there are male streamers that I feel like even if women were not their primary intended audience, still have pretty big female fan bases. Like people have pointed to Germa as one, Queso as another. I know the joke is that Northern Lion has no female viewers, and yet I feel like I know more female Northern Lion fans than I know male ones, but I know that might just be like sampling issue. Like, again, I think there definitely are also like other models of success with female audiences, I think, other than trying to be a boy band, right? Don't force me to think EGGY say silly things. I think I can say silly things on demand. Also, how many women who want to be low-key online just make their account male to avoid harassment? True! That is also another phenomenon that probably makes stuff harder to track. Or, like, I feel like there's also a tendency, and, like, I do that. I'm a woman, and I also do this. But I feel like with certain websites, like, for instance, I remember when I was younger, when I would use Tumblr, I had a habit of assuming that everybody on Tumblr was female. So, like, if I saw a profile, if I saw someone's name and, like, there was no gender that was clearly, like, specified, I would just assume that this was a girl, right? And, like, yeah, statistically, I know that, like, Tumblr had more girls than boys. I think that seems to be true on some level. But, like, you know, if you threw a dart at a random Tumblr username, like, would that person be male or female? Hard to say. But at the same time, when I would use Reddit, it's so weird. On Reddit, I seem to assume that everybody is a guy. Even if I'm on unless I'm on a subreddit that's, like, very clearly heavily populated by women. Like, I imagine, like r/makeup addiction is probably has a heavier female user base. But, like, for any other subreddit, I seem to just walk in, like, I reply to people's comments with the assumption that this is a guy, which is also incorrect. So, but the thing is, I'm a woman. I know people joke, they're like, oh, there's no woman on the internet. I'm a woman and I also fall into this trap. So, yeah. That's, like, definitely another phenomenon, yeah. I run into that in League. Everyone assumes everyone is a man, but I know more female League players IRL. Well, I know for, like, online games specifically, I feel like it's also very, very common, unfortunately, for women to deliberately obscure their gender for extremely understandable reasons, you know? Yeah, r/knitting, r/periods. Is that even a real subreddit? Probably. I feel like they would use a different word for it. Watch it be for the grammar people. Yeah. For, like, ending your sentence correctly. Okay. I tend to avoid gender marks when I'm in Love Live forums because male Love Live fams have a reputation. Ah, interesting. I guess I never thought of it that way. I don't know. I feel like Love Live is also one of those things where, like, I feel like I always have to remember that, like, Japanese fan bases for a lot of idol franchises are, like, ooh, goodness. They are more heavily male than female because I feel like every Love Live fan I ever met it was all girls. Or even Bang Dream was the same. I remember it was so weird because I was like, there was a point in time where I'm like, I know that, like, there are male Bang Dream fans out there somewhere. I have never met one. Like, I know they exist. I know even in Japan there's more of them than there are female fans. I had never met a male Bang Dream fan. I'd never seen somebody, because, like, even Love Live, every so often I'd see, like, somebody at a convention driving, like, you know, their, like, Love Live Itasha, or, like, wearing, like, you know, walking around with some kind of Love Live merch or t-shirt or something. Never saw that for Bang Dream. It was only girls. But, yeah. But, yeah. I went to a Love Live theater concert. It was like 95% dudes. Yeah, that was the thing. It's like, I'm like, I know the men are out there. Did I meet any of them in person? No, not really, no. Not very commonly. Yippee! Lovely. Lovely. Yippee! Yippee! Lovely. Lovely. Thank you, Coraporette and Yellow Ash. And Goddlepuss. I keep looking at Yellow Ash and I'm like, Yellow Wash. Yellow Wash. Wash. Washing. Yeah. Yellow Wash. I don't know. I guess it's like, yeah, Yellow Ash. Yellow wash. Washing. Eggy the laundry. I don't actually have laundry. I do need to do the dishes. I did the thing, I think, after supper where I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this pan to soak in the sink. And then I know I'm gonna go back later and I'm gonna be like, ah, there's a pan in the sink. Like, this is going to happen to me, without a doubt. Absolutely. I was gonna wash my clothes and it started raining, so I didn't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't usually leave. Usually, like, the basement is big enough that there's plenty of space to hang clothes. So usually it doesn't really matter. But it's more just like I don't have clothes to wash right now. There's not that much in the hamper. I did some the other day. We don't have a basement. Oh. I mean, I guess... I know, like... previous Eggy home, like where my parents still live, also doesn't have a basement, but I guess there's enough space on, like, near the laundry room. My mom still puts stuff out in the backyard in the summer, though, to dry. I think the thing is with Canada is that, like, most of the year, or maybe not most of the year, but, like, a solid chunk of the year, it's too cold. Like, if you put your clothes outside to dry, they will still be wet, and they might even be frozen. For like half the year. So usually people will dry their stuff inside or use the dryer. I don't know. I think the dryer should be used less than it currently is, but yeah, the only reason my family doesn't have either a dryer or a dishwasher is a lack of space. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a dishwasher. I think here, I wouldn't say most places have dishwashers, but I don't know. My sister has a dishwasher. Like, she's in, like, a small, like, basement apartment, and somehow she has a dishwasher. I'm like, whoa. But, yeah, it's, I think, yeah, we have a dishwasher here. Your sister has a dishwasher? Is it her partner? No, like, she has a dishwasher. I was amazed. She has a dishwasher. It's a very weird dishwasher, though. Like, the way you load it, like, it's one of those things where, like, especially the top level, it's like, there's a bunch of, like, parts where it's like, okay, this is too wide to put cups, but it's also, like, not wide enough to put plates or bowls, so it's unclear what you're actually supposed to load there, but she makes it work. It's a smaller dishwasher, but it's fine because, you know, if you're not going through a lot of dishes. Dishwashers make good storage racks, I guess. I mean, unless you're one of those people that, like, stores everything in the oven, but yeah, she has a dishwasher. And her, like, maybe not reasonably priced, but, like, fairly okay priced for the neighborhood that she's in. And she has a dishwasher. Whoa. Ovens are also good storage cabinets. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I didn't grow up in a household that use ovens as storage, but, like, I didn't use the oven here at all until this year because it was always being used for storing stuff. And it was only now that I'm like, you know what? I think I can use the oven to make stuff. I'm thinking of making, maybe I'll try baking. I kind of want to try baking. I want to make some cookies. I want to make... It was like a recipe. I got my sister to send it to me because I asked my mom, and my mom's like, actually, it was your sister that made those. These, like, shortbread cookies, but, like, essentially, I think it's just like a normal shortbread recipe, except that you also dump in, like, a couple tea bags worth of Earl Grey leaves. So you have these, like, Earl Grey shortbread cookies, and they are yummy. I want to make them. They're yummy. But I think it's also because I have a bunch of loose leaf tea I need to get through. I think last week, so there's like a brand of tea that I like, and usually I order off their website. But then I ordered, but the thing is that, like, their shipping is kind of expensive for what it is. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy a few more things so I can like hit the free shipping, because I was buying something as a gift for somebody. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not paying $14 to ship like, you know, a $25 thing. So I'm just gonna like buy more things so I hit the free shipping. And so I bought like what was called like a small bag of loose leaf. And it was like, I got it and I was like, okay, maybe this is a small bag if you're like a restaurant. If you're like a cafe that's serving this every day. Because it's gonna take me a while to get through this. It's gonna take me quite a while, I think. In Canada, appliances are considered part of the home, like in the U.S., right? Yes. Well, it depends on the province, actually. In EGGY province, yes. In EGGY province, if you move, you do not take the appliances with you, but whatever appliances in the new place you move into are yours. That said, in other provinces, it does work differently. So in Quebec, you have to take your appliances with you. But in EGGY province, no. I don't know how it works for any of the other provinces. I've never moved there, and I've never thought to ask. So... Nah! I mean, to be fair, that was a very dumb move. I should have not put down that tile, but also that was for, like, completely unrelated reasons. Did you do anything fun over the holiday weekend? Yeah, I went over to, my aunt's. She invited us over, actually, all on... Because, like, my dad was in town, and then... So, yeah, she figured because, like, obviously my grandma's not going to be able to host anything this year, so she did a Good Friday dinner at my aunt's place. But, like, okay, it had been, like, it was the first time in, like, over 10 years, I think, I had been to my aunt's house. Like, I did not remember at all where it was. I mean, my dad drove me there, but I was, like, looking out the window as in the car, and I'm like, this does not look terribly familiar. But, yeah, it had been, like, the first time I'd been there in 10 years. It's very weird, because I'm like, the last time I was here, I think I was playing, like, Wii Sports Resort on their TV downstairs. I don't know what any of the rest of the house looks like, because, like, the house, like, it's still shaped the same. I don't know what the upstairs looks like, because I remember that's where, like, all the bedrooms were, but, like, both of my cousins have moved out, so I don't know what they use the upstairs for now, but... Yeah, over here it's rare to get a place with appliances. Only super fancy places or super dingy ones. Nothing in between his pre-installed appliances. Ah, okay. But, yeah, so I wore my... Okay, you guys know, like, a sweater that I added the lace to on stream the other day? So I wore that, and that was, like, extremely dangerous decision. Because dinner was, like, tomato pasta and red wine, and, like, the dessert was, like, black tea and chocolate, and, like it was just, like, overall a very dangerous meal to be trying to eat with... like a light yellow, brand new with light yellow sweatshirt. But I survived, and there was no stains on it. I'm, like, proud of myself. Yeah, anytime I wanted to use the oven, I had to unload, like, 10 frying pans on a walk. Yeah. Again, I feel like when it comes to, like, pots and pans, I was always scared of, like, what if I start the oven and there's, like, something inside that has, like, a plastic handle, and I just, like, melt the plastic handle. Yeah. Too cool to break out the bib. Well, the thing is that, like, with sauce, like, even if I drop tomato sauce on like, even if I do the thing, you know, the thing where you put, like, the napkin, like, into your shirt and stuff, like, even if I did that, I feel like the sauce would still soak through. So it's like, I just had to eat very carefully and properly. And I managed to not spill anything. Rare EGGY victory. Rare EGGY success. So now your oven is permanently usable? Yes, I have stored most of the pots and pans that were in there, at least anything with like a plastic handle, I have put elsewhere. I have put them on the dining room table because I do not use the dining room table. If people ever come over and are like, hey, we need the dining room table, then I will simply put them back in the oven. But yeah. Thank you for seriously answering my unserious question. I'm sorry. I am approaching every question seriously. This is a common problem here on Eggy channel. I promise in real life I can differentiate between a joke and not a joke. I promise in real life I can do that. But in Twitch somehow it's weird because it's like I can, if I'm reading like a tweet or something, if I'm reading like an article, if I'm reading, usually I can differentiate between what's a joke and what isn't. Usually this is not a problem for me, except when it comes to Twitch messages. It's weird. It's like in real life speech, I can differentiate if someone's joking or not. Most other forms of text, I can differentiate when someone's joking or not. But like on Twitch chats, I just seem to assume everyone is completely serious all of the time. Oh, thank God. Okay. That's an issue in general with text. But that's the thing, I don't have this issue with any other form of text aside from like Twitch chats. My default is not serious. Twitch is serious business. Nobody has ever been serious on Twitch. And I know this, and yet, this keeps happening. This is one of my greatest weaknesses as a streamer. I never joke. See, I can differentiate. That's a joke. Jake is joking. I know this. I'm certain of this. That's why people gotta add flavor to the text. We're using emoji now. We're using emoji. I'll use S for silly. No, because that's already taken. That's already taken by people who are using it for sarcasm. But oh, nerd moment. I was rubbing my eye and my glasses fell off. Absolute nerd moment. Actually, I need, my glasses, I know I can be a wise guy, but I do generally appreciate your streams and wider eggplant community. With the clown emoji? With the clown emote? That's your OF for obviously funny. No! Feel that way I don't know something because no one explained it to me. I always take I don't know things seriously, even at IRL. Thank you, Josh Gottle Plus. Oh, Josh Gottle Plus. Thank you for sprouting. Welcome. Yeah. One time, somebody made the mistake of jokingly telling me they didn't know what CO2 was, and I spent like 15 minutes explaining it. I mean, to be fair, I've also made that mistake. That's the other thing, too, is that, like, I'm also very easily rage baited. But I think this is a problem of being online too much. Because usually if someone is rage baiting you on the internet, right? Like there's incentives on the internet for people to rage bait you for, you know, profit and attention, right? But usually if someone in real life is trying to rage bait you, they're doing that for fun. They're doing that to mess with you, right? But the thing is that, like, I feel like I'm so accustomed to people rage baiting in a serious way that when somebody's rage baiting me in a silly way, I can't take a good old trolling anymore because nobody trolls for free. Nobody trolls for free. So, like, I'll have, like, someone rage baiting me in real life in a joking way, and I'm taking it completely seriously because I'm so used to people like rage baiting. This is my weakness. This is my weakness. I'm easily rage baited because I've spent the last like decade of my life constantly going online and seeing the worst opinions known to man being said completely sincerely. So now I just assume that whenever somebody is giving a bad take, they're doing so completely sincerely, even when they are not. Eggy, drink water? I should. Egg signal activated. Somebody is wrong on the internet. It's like that! It's like that! This is what I've become. I don't like it either, but it's what I've become. Yes. Best pronunciation of my username so far. Is it correct? Josh Goddlepus? I just assumed it was like a a cat, like Puss in Boots. Yeah. Rage bait is heavily monetized online right now. That's, yeah, like, but the thing is that, like, it was also, I mean, I guess we've hit a point where, like, rage bait is a business model. But I feel like even before, like, there would be people who would rage bait for attention. Or people, like, I guess maybe people were still doing it, and it was still kind of rewarded. But we just didn't have a word for it yet, I guess. You gotta correct people, hesitate when saying it a lot. Understandable. Understandable. Yeah, great. It's just rage bait or AI slop. Or worse, rage bait made by AI. Or people making rage bait about AI slop. We've offloaded the work of rage baiting people to a computer. Procedurally generated rage bait. What if the artist pretending to make AI art to rage bait? Yeah, it's people, like, I feel like there's a category too of people like rage baiting about AI. All right. Man. This is what happens. This is what happens when I get rage baited. Congratulations, corporate. Thank you, Alto and Tadanozoka, for playing. Yeah. I prefer my rage bait made by a human troll. Solid, handmade rage bait. You know? Organic, made from scratch. You know? Custom rage bait. Ooh, thank you for your redeem. Prefer my rage bait made with love. Yes. None of this mass-produced AI rage bait. I want to be rage baited by a human by their own hands. AI is great and all, but makes mistakes faster. I don't know. Okay, I think it's one of those things where I'm also just like, I don't want to be like, I'm better than everybody else. But like, I think I've used ChatGPT a grand total of like 3 times ever. And like one of those times was the time that I did that one stream where I made it like an AI generated knitting pattern and it turned out like this like flat homunculus. That I think that's like one of 3 times ever that I've used ChatGPT. Cause like, I think the thing is just like, I don't even know what I would do with it. And like, again, some of this might just be because like, I'm someone who's never had trouble with reading or writing. Except apparently when trying to decipher the intentions of people in my Twitch chat. But aside from that, when it comes to reading and writing, I've never had issues with that. I have no desire to AI generate pictures or video. But like everything else that I think of what people usually use ChatGPT for, it's either something I can do myself or something that like tools already exist that you can use for that, right? If no one else joins, I could hop back in. Yep, go ahead. Again, my rule is make sure everyone who wants a turn gets one. But like if we're waiting for a while, then like feel free to hop back in. It's better to keep it moving along than to be like, oh, but what if somebody shows up? Never had issues with reading or writing that you notice, so it's probably fine. Well, it's more like if I needed to type a business email, I could. And I would honestly probably prefer to, because at least I know what I want to say and I don't have to like, you know, because like I feel like if you're specific enough with what you're asking your AI to write, then like at some point you might as well just write it yourself, right? But like, yeah, I've never wanted to have something summarized by an AI or wanted something, you know, written. Like I would never write emails with AI. Like I just don't feel the need to. This isn't something I struggle with. One time I asked Grok to pick a horse racing trifecta for the meme, went to sleep without it betting because the betting didn't open. I got too tired, woke up, checked the results, I actually got it right. Again, I've never, like, I don't know, like, I've seen people be like, oh yeah, use it to, like, because, like, I would never use it to look up information, because search engines already exist. I don't think I would want to use it, like, as a conversation partner, but maybe I have enough friends that, like, that's not a concern I have. Or, like, yeah, I just can't think of anything that I can do with it that I can't do either, yeah, like I said, either on my own or, like, using another tool that already exists, right? If I see an AI-generated email or Slack message, it sends the impression that the author doesn't know what they're talking about. Honestly, that's kind of been my experience with a lot of stuff, too. Like, I refuse to eat at a restaurant anymore that uses, like, AI images in their advertising. Unless it's somewhere that I've eaten before and they started using it after. Because I feel like I've never had a good experience, or at least not like a notably good experience at any restaurant that uses AI in like their signage or menus. And if anything, to me, like if I'm going somewhere for the first time and like the pictures that they use in the menu are like clearly AI generated, to me I'm like, that it feels like it's like you guys do make the food, right? Like, all Korean restaurants use the same image. Oh, really? I mean, I imagine it's one thing to use stock photos, I think, but yeah. Do you notice the less obvious AI tweets? Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think so. Maybe not perfectly. I just assume anything I see on Twitter that is, like, written with big spacing between the lines is written by AI. I just assume that at this point. I'll take an artistic rendition of the dish over AI. Well, it's like, I don't know. Somebody on your staff probably has, like, a decent quality camera on their phone. Like, honestly, I trust restaurants with typos in their menus more than I trust ones with more polished but sort of AI-looking menus. Like, I think I've talked about, oh my god, there's this one cafe, and, like, I actually do like it. I do recommend it. I do enjoy it. I can't tell you where it is because, I go there often enough. But it's one of the things that I remember, like, the first time I looked at their website, they had the word lunch spelled incorrectly in one of their menu items. Like, it was like a launch. It was like lunch set, I think. But they spelled it as launch. And I'm just like, the launch set. Like, I'm imagining, like, someone, like, loading the stuff into, like, one of those t-shirt cannons and just, like, throwing it at you from the other side of the store. Just, like, a launch set. But, like, that makes me happy. Or there's another place, unfortunately, they have more recently fixed this typo, but for years on their menu, instead of scrambled egg, it said scarmbled egg, and that just made me really happy. Yeah, it feels inauthentic. Yeah. I guess that might be the word, yeah. Yeah, my rater for food. Chinese, if there's a 6-year-old working the cash register doing homework between checking guests out, that's go-to food. Well, yeah, like family businesses, yeah. Scarmbled. It was a scarmbled egg. They did fix it. Unfortunately, they did fix the scarmbled. They did end up fixing the scarmbled egg. But no, I don't know. It makes me smile when I see typos on menus because I'm like, you know what? A person made this. A person made this and they weren't like 100% sure what they were doing, but they made it anyway. Like, if anything, I think having typos on your menu actually, to me, is almost always a good sign. I feel like I've had better food from places that have typos on their menu. It sounds like a weird claim to make, but like... If there's not a single spelling mistake in your menu, then I'm a little more suspect. Be sure to tell my boss add realistic typos to their script. No! I remember there used to be a Vietnamese restaurant near my college we used to regularly go to because it was like $2, you could get a big bowl of pho. I swear they always saw these two elderly Vietnamese women knitting or sewing in the corner at all hours every day. Honestly, that's been something that, okay, so previous EGGY City had a lot more Vietnamese restaurants, but a lot of them were like small family-owned places, right? So that's kind of the atmosphere that I got accustomed to when it came to Vietnamese food. But like, since I've moved, a lot of the ones in my area are like, they're newer and they're bigger and I don't know, it's not that like a Vietnamese restaurant shouldn't feel that way, but lately I feel like I'm craving like Vietnamese food, but like specifically in the atmosphere of the shops in previous EGGY City. Like, it's like, I need to go somewhere where it's, like, small. There's, like, maybe, like, 7 tables maximum. And, like, the place has clearly been here for, like, at least a decade. And, like, the decor is, like, various holiday decorations that somebody forgot to take down, as well as, like, a newspaper clipping about the restaurant from a newspaper. That is what I'm looking for. I know it exists somewhere in current EGGY City, I just need to figure out where. Yeah, I feel it. My city has a lot of Thai places with a similar vibe. Yeah, yeah. Because, yeah, like... I think that's, like, again, something I missed from previous EGGY City. Also, shawarma. There are places here that sell shawarma, but they make it differently. It's probably, like, a regional difference type thing, where it's, like, the people from, like, previous EGGY City were making shawarma in the style of, like, one place, and, like, the ones here are making it in the style of a different place. But, like, it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same. I'm sure there's a place here that makes it the way I'm accustomed to. I'm sure there's somewhere that makes it in the style of EGGY City, of previous EGGY City, but I gotta find it. I must explore. I need to be more exploring. I need to be more sploring. I feel like lately I'm not sploring enough. Maybe once, like, the weather's been kind of cold, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, should I go sploring? Maybe I should go sploring. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like I'm, like, hesitant to go sploring. Because I'm always like, oh, if I go sploring... If I go sploring, I'm gonna be like... Like, if I go sploring, I'm gonna spend money. But I'm like, maybe spending the money is worthwhile if it means that I find somewhere good. If I explore enough and I find somewhere nice, you know? But yeah. Those places with the blackboard with lines that you put the letters in the line, they haven't changed those since 1992. Those oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like the ones where you have to, like, you have, like, the letters that you move around. Yeah. Yeah, like walk like a couple blocks. Yeah, it's like I need to go to like, I don't know. I think the problem is I keep, whenever I go exploring, I feel like I keep going to the same few neighborhoods. I just need to like find a part of the city that I haven't gone to yet. And just like explore there. Because I'm like, why do I feel like I keep ending up at the same places? And then, like, I'm like, maybe because I keep going to the same places. I keep going to the same area. Is not spending money an option? I guess that's true, right? Because, like, you know, I bought a bunch of groceries today. It's not like you can get around having to eat food. And if I can afford to do it, then I should. For me, the older the Pepsi logo on the wall, the better the restaurant. You're like, okay, even if these people aren't skilled, they're at the very least experienced. I'm trying to think of what, like, other good signifiers, I think, for me. Again, menu typos. Definitely one. I've seen some people say that the smaller the menu, the better the restaurant. Because it both means that, like, either they've gotten really, really good at preparing, like, a select few dishes, or, you know, they're, like, you know, they're not spreading themselves too thin by trying to, you know, go in every direction and please everybody. The cashier isn't the one holding your card to the reader. Is that a thing? I feel like that might be an American thing more than a Canadian thing. I've heard of Canadians going to the States. Like, is it normal? Is it normal in the States to have your credit card taken away if you're using it to pay for a meal? Because, like, I feel like I've seen Canadians, I've gone to the States, and they would go to, like, a restaurant, and then, like, to pay for the meal, the waiter would, like, take away their credit card, and they'd be like, Because that's very much not normal in Canada. They always bring the card reader. For a meal at a sit-down place, that's pretty typical. Yeah, here they don't do that at all. Like, they always bring the card reader to the table. I think I mean, if you wanted to, I imagine you could be like, you could probably go up to the counter and be like, hey, I'm sitting at this table over there, I'd like to pay. Because, like, I've definitely had that happen. But that's the kind of thing you do when you're the kind of person who's like, I'm taking the bill. I am going to take the bill. And then you, like, go up to the counter before anybody else can notice, right? But yeah, here they always bring you the card reader directly. Yeah, in some restaurants, yes, usually better off places, so there's some trust. Yeah, that used to be normal in Canada. They don't do that anymore. Yeah, I don't think, like, in all the time that since I've been, like, old enough to pay for things with my own card, I don't think I've ever been to a place in Canada that would take your card. I think in the bars, they even keep credit cards in the US. Well, I think bars might work a little differently, but it also feels like, Yeah, more places using portable readers, but that'll be in nicer and trendier cities. Interesting. Here I feel like almost everywhere uses... Like, I've seen a few places where they only have one card reader and it's at a register, but even then, they usually do it like, I mean... Oh, thank you!
That Boyaki just found 20 Canadian dollars behind the couch. Here goes Splorin.
Go Splorin, thank you for the Splorin money. Why did it pronounce it that way? That Boyaki. Thank you, that Boyaki. Why did it pronounce it like that? That Boyake. Thank you, Yake. Thank you for this Splorin money. But yeah, I think here, like, because in Japan, how it would work for restaurants, usually for sit-down restaurants, they wouldn't bring you the card reader, But basically, when you order, like, once they bring you your food, they bring you, like, basically the bill, and then you take the bill up to the register at the front, and then you pay for it there. Like, they just, like, you know, total. But the other thing, too, is that also in Japan, like, tipping isn't really a thing, so there's usually, it's not like there's, like, a bajillion additional fees that they have to account for once you get there. And I've been to a few places in Canada that function like that, I think. But yeah, it's not very common. It's not very common to have, like, your card just straight up taken away. But yeah. I've been to some bars that swipe the cards to let you keep a tab. But yeah, no. Then again, I also can't say I go to that many bars, to be honest. Like, I feel like most of the bars that I've been to, they function more like restaurants, right? Like, I'll go to, like, izakaya type places once in a while. Actually, I don't know. Now that I think of it, have I ever actually straight up been to a bar? Like, going in with the intention of drinking? Because even in Japan, I was mostly going to izakayas if I wanted to go drinking. Or I would just go to, like, a normal restaurant that happens to serve alcohol. Yeah, I don't know if I've been to, like, a bar with the intention of drinking. I guess I've been to a lot of restaurants that are, like, you know, bar and grill, but, like, I was there for the grill. I was there for the grill and not the bar. Remember happening here in Uruguay when I was a kid, but only twice ever since I got my own card at 14. Yeah. Because, yeah, I think I was probably around 14 or 15 when I got my... Well, what I had was, like, a debit visa. So it was, like, technically a debit card, but it could be used as a credit card. But I think that was... Yeah, I was in high school, I think, when I got that. And... Yeah, I think in that time, whenever I've gone to a restaurant, they've never taken away my card. Yeah, not going primarily for drinking is valid. Yeah, because, like... I mean... There will be times where I will get alcoholic beverage when I go to a restaurant. But I can't say that, like, I do it as, like, going to a restaurant with the intention of being, like, gonna be super drunk. I don't think I've done that. Although I guess if you're like, I'm gonna be super drunk, I guess going to a restaurant is probably not the cheapest way to do that, right? And, like, I don't know, I've also... When I say I've never been to a bar, I also, like... You know how people will be like, oh yeah, the bars where people go to, like, chat up strangers and stuff. That has never been my experience. Whenever I've gone to any establishment that calls itself a bar, it's always been with a group of friends, and I only talk to the people who I went with. Like, bar as place for partying, I don't think I've ever experienced. Nor do I have, like, a ton of interest in experiencing, to be honest. I only went to a bar once, bought one whiskey, so I was $10, finished it, and left because I was not going to pay the price of half a bottle per glass. Again, that's mostly why I went, like, that's why I went more often in Japan, because, like... Again, going to... Oh, thank you!
That Boyaki just found 20 Canadian dollars
Again?
Behind the couch. My name is Jake U. Clanker, say it right.
Bro's just gonna keep throwing $20 at it until it says it correctly. I don't think unless you can put, like, a space. I feel like if you put a space in your name, then it would get it, but I don't think you can change it like that. I think you're stuck being that Boyaki for a while. That Boyaki. But yeah. I don't know, because, like, yeah, izakaya's, like, again, some of it is just because, like, I'm paying with my Canadian dollars, which was, and I think it still is stronger than the yen. But I know like in... Even in Japan, like, you could also do, like, nomi hodai, which is, like, kind of expensive, but also, like, I don't know, depending on how much you plan to drink, is possibly the more economical option. Daboyaki, son of Damanyaki. Daboyaki, I don't know, that sounds like... Did we just invent a new, that can be a new Mahjong. New Yaku just dropped. Because, yeah. Nomi Hodai in Japan... So Nomi Hodai is basically, like, all you can drink. But it's not like, all you can drink. Like, usually it's within a time limit. So usually it'll be, like, 90 minutes or 2 hours or something. And, like, obviously how much you can drink is also limited by how often the waiter comes to your table. But yeah, no, usually it would be, like, a flat rate. Like, it would be, like, 3,000 yen, which is... a little bit expensive, I think, but by, like, Japanese meal standard, that's pretty expensive, but also, like, again, if you're going to drink a lot, that might be cheaper than if you were to try and, you know, order everything separately, right?
That Boyaki just found 20 Canadian dollars behind the couch. The Canadian economy is in trouble. I can do this all night, you filthy text-to-speech. My mama didn't name me Yaka.
I will become quite wealthy off of robot mispronunciation. Thank you again, Yaki. Yeah, that's super cheap. I mean, yeah, but consider, like, so, like, keep in mind, 3,000 yen is, like, the average meal at, like, a family restaurant would be, like, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 yen. As well as the fact that, like, I think minimum wage in most parts of Japan is usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 yen. So, like, 3,000 yen is, like, you know, roughly, like, 3 hours of minimum wage labor. Just to, like, give it perspective. So... But again, depending on how much you plan to drink, it might be... And also the other thing, too, with the Nomi Hodai menus as well, is that usually they would be limited. So, like, certain stuff that's super expensive would not be on the Nomi Hodai menu. Like, it would usually just be, like, you know, stuff that's relatively inexpensive for them to serve, right? So, like, or at least to serve in large quantities. So, like, beer, chuhai, some kinds of wine... usually some kind of like sake, or sometimes they would have umeshu. Sometimes they would have some cocktails if they were made with, like, I guess not too fancy ingredients. I think, Jake, what's messing it up is the fact that I think it's because there is an I before the J. Like the I from the end of boy, and then like the J at the beginning of Jake. I think because those two next to each other, I think causes the TTS to be like, yes, this must be a Spanish word, and then pronounce it accordingly, I think. I think that's where it's being thrown off. Can't do a space in Streamlabs? Does it work with did you try an underscore? Or does it, like, default to your Twitch username? Like, do you have to... Because I know sometimes Streamlabs lets you, like, change the name that appears on screen, but... Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I miss Nomi Hodai. I'm like, yeah, that would be fun, but they don't do it here. Eggy, hello Nanora. Not last game, right? No, surprisingly not. What time is it? 10:20. Yeah, I think I'll do a couple more. Before I have to get jump scared by the dishes in the sink. Who left these there? It was me. I was the one who made dinner and then put the pan in the sink and said I would let it soak and wash it later. It didn't even need to soak. It wasn't even that dirty. It wasn't even that dirty. I told myself I'm going to let this soak, but in reality, I just didn't want to wash it. But I don't know. I feel like that we've all done that at some point, right? Nah! I thought that was a better choice. Okay, so am I dead? No. I'm in last, but I'm unfortunately... Okay, I'm dead. I'm dead. I've died. I've perished. Goodbye. I have... we are gone. Thank you for playing. Congratulations, DK Lakarn. And thank you for playing Taishi. And thank you for playing Tadanozoka. I am dead. Goodbye. Not goodbye. We're gonna play another couple games. Maybe like 2 more. I am dead. I am deceased. I have perished. I am no more. I have passed away. Goodbye. Yeah. I you probably said as a random example. I'm trying to figure out a Spanish word that sounds similar to daboyaki. I'm sure the daboyaki is a word in some language. I just don't know which. Hold on. I need water. I guess it kind of sounds like takoyaki. Or maybe like sukiyaki? Oh, somebody dropped out. We have 1 more spot. Yeah. Yeah, I need to be exploring. Need to be... I don't know, last week, I swear... Okay. Tuesday, I went out. Tuesday, went out, did lots of things. Came home. Set up for stream the next day. Next day, Gleep Glorp. Wednesday, Gleep Glorp. After Gleep Glorp, something about me just fell off a cliff. Like, I was looking at my screen time from last week. I had, like, and this was just from my phone. I had 9 hours of screen time on my phone on Wednesday last week. Like, somehow, like, I wrapped up stream, and then after that, I just, like, gave up on everything in life. I just gave up. Hold on, let me see what the other days were. Did Pikmin get you exploring? No, but they should. They really should. The Pikmin, I don't know. I need to get back on Pikmin Bloom. I was like really slacking because it was cold out. But now that it's starting to warm up again, it's getting to be spring. I should actually be Pikmining. Last week I was really embarrassed because I joined somebody's flower planting challenge and I planted 0 flowers. And then you know how like at the end of the week it shows like how much each person like contributed, and I felt so embarrassed because they're like, Bodega, this many flowers. It's like, so-and-so, this many flowers. And then I was like, I'm sitting here like, Eggy, 0 flowers. I'm like, oh, sorry guys. I mean, they hit the goal anyway, so it's not like a huge deal. Yeah, let's see. Screen time. What is it in? Digital well-being. Screen time. From last week. So, yeah, last Wednesday, 9 hours, 3 minutes, just on my phone. Thursday, 7 hours, 47 minutes. Friday, 6 hours, 38 minutes. And even that was, like, slightly cut into by the fact that I went to dinner at my aunt's. And then after that, like, Saturday was a little bit better because, like, like, I went out and stuff. Average last week of 6 hours, 7 minutes of screen time per day on my phone. Although, Like, what happened? Hold on. What happened on March 22nd? I had 8 hours, 21 minutes of screen time. Yeah, like the week before, like, last week was average of 6 hours, 7 minutes on my phone. But, like, that's actually, like, lower than the week before, which was, like, 6 hours, 27 minutes? Yeah, it's been like that. It's been like that. I don't know how it counts screen time, though. I don't know how it counts, like, does it know that I'm looking at my phone? Like, if I'm, like, listening to music, I don't know if it counts that. How much that has background noise? Yeah, I don't know, because, like, if I'm listening, like, to, like, music or a podcast, like, if I listen to, like, a 45-minute long podcast, I don't know if it counts that as, like, a like, I don't know if that counts as screen time, because I'm not, like, literally looking at the screen, but, like, my phone is still doing something. My phone is basically just a radio for me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have my iPad for old people stuff, but this was just on my phone, which is probably not good. Because, like, it's one thing, I feel like there is nothing on my phone that is good or productive, right? Because, like, if I want something fun, my video games are all on my computer. And if I want something like old person, like ebooks and all of that is all on the iPad. Again, there is no reason except for consuming slop. That is what my phone is for at this point, and maybe posting Slepawax. So it is a problem, I think, if I am on my phone, more so than if I'm on any other device. Because, like, yeah, I can still consume slop on any other device, but, like, I'm less likely to. But yeah, I don't know. Somehow my motivation fell off a cliff, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm gonna scroll Twitter for 9 hours. Which is probably not ideal. I'm trying to not do that this week, but then it's like, okay, well then what do I do instead? And then I have to figure that out from there. Ooh. And it's like, yeah, it's... yeah, I guess, like... I know that the correct answer for this is get employed, and I'm like, that is due to that is due to someone else's decision beyond my control. I'm trying. Become a professional Mahjong player. No. There was just setting Oji-san Korra. Learning to stand around doing nothing is actually peak comfy. No, see, standing around doing nothing is my other problem. Because you know, like how I said, like, for those days where I had, like, 8 hours of screen time? You know what I was doing when I wasn't on my phone? I was staring into space and thinking. Which, like, in theory, thinking should be a good thing. But in practice, it's also, like, I might as well have been on my phone. Like... Professional philosopher. I'm thinking. No, like, I'm like... It's like, what do I do today? I don't know. I guess I'll think. Let me just think for half an hour. Just pondering. Which is probably not good. It's bad in a different way, I think. Not that thinking is bad. But, like... At some point, you have to stop thinking and actually do something. Which I was not doing. Ruminating. Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. Like, thinking parentheses negative. Yeah, I recall my dreams a lot better. Turns out a lot of my dreams are me playing really weird video games. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I remember any recent dreams. I think I had a dream the other day that I was back in Japan, and I was like, okay, I'm back in Japan. And for whatever reason, I was like staying at like the same, like I was in the same dorm and I was living in the same place that I did when I was there the first time. And I was like, okay, I need to make the best of it. I need to like go and explore as many places as possible within the limited time I have. And then I tried to figure out, I'm like, okay, how long do I have before I have to go back home? And I could not find that out. I spent the entire dream like trying to like look through documents and files and like ask around to be like, hey, so like how long do I have to live here before I have to move out? And nobody would tell me. And that was my dream.
No.
I recall my dreams a lot better. Turns out the last one I got confused. I dreamed I had to look up a guy. Bro is like looking at the dream walkthrough. Man can't beat this dream. Having trouble with this boss. Does anybody have the solution to this puzzle? But yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid doing this week. I just need to figure out how to... how do I avoid thinking for half an hour? It's more difficult than you think it would be. I remember the issue. You had to max out the coolness meter, but I didn't max out at 100%. It was 118.11%. I can see why you would have needed a walkthrough for that. But yeah. I don't know. What do I have to do this week? What should I do this week? I need to apply for more jobs because I had an interview last week. But they haven't gotten back to me, so I'm assuming they never will. So I guess I have to figure out something else. Let me see. What's today? Today's the 6th. I think calendar. I think I have something on Friday. Oh yeah, I have Japanese classes starting again. Not this week, but next week. So I guess I'll have something to do. Yeah, I have to apply for more things. But yeah, I have to go exploring. I have to work out at some point, presumably. What else do I have to do this week? Oh, I have to make tomato soup again. Because I still have a bunch of the leftover ingredients from the first batch I made. Because like I had to buy more vegetables, but like I still have a ton of garlic and tomato paste and various sausages, various spices and such left over. So I will have to make more of that. And then, what else is on the EGGY to-do list? Oh, I have some stuff I need to record if I can do it this week. Gotta record some things. Need to message somebody about a thing. I remain minestrone. No, I'm actually rather inexperienced when it comes to soup. Like the roasted tomato soup, that was the... I mean, I guess I made soups in the sense of it's just like heat up broth, add thing. But I think recently that's like the first... what did you make with the coriander anyway? Nothing yet. I need to make sure it's still good. I've been like pulling off leaves here and there to like add as like a garnish for other things, but like I'm never getting through it. I don't know, I had a recipe that was just calling for like a few leaves of coriander, but then it's like you can't buy just a few leaves of coriander, you have to buy a whole bunch, which is annoying because I didn't need a whole bunch. Ramen is soup. I mean, yeah, but like a lot of the soups I made are just like heat up broth add thing, right? So this was like, I think the tomato soup I made the other day was the first time I ever made like a actual cream soup where you have to like blend stuff. Actually, you know what? Sure. But yeah. Do you sandwich to go with the soup? Depends. Depends. I did grill cheese a little bit, I think. But mostly I've just been having cheese and crackers with my soups lately. Okay. Yeah, cheese and crackers is fine. Or even crackers and hummus can be good too. I still need to figure out what to do with that big bag called soup mix of like the beans and lentils. I guess there's nothing stopping me from just like making a broth with like that and I don't know what else could go in a soup. I guess maybe like ground beef. Edamame soup. Bean soup. No, well, because like, okay, a while back I bought this thing at the grocery store. It was called soup mix. And it's essentially just like this big bag of like dried, you know, beans and lentils. It's just like a mix of them, right? But the thing is, there was no, there's no instructions on the bag. And I couldn't really find anything online about like how to, I couldn't find anything online about how to like prepare it. I'm like, do I need to soak this? Do I need to, you know, is there any specific directions? Like, do I need to soak this? How long do I cook it for? So yeah, I just have this thing called soup mix that I have not, I mean, I guess it's dried, so I'm not in any hurry to use it. Like, it's not like it's gonna expire or anything, but what is chili if not bean soup? Maybe I should try making chili. I'll have to look up a recipe for chili. Because, like, I know my mom would make chili sometimes, but, like, I don't think she was, like, really trying very hard. I think she was just kind of winging it. You know what I want? You know what I want to eat lately? Like the Mexican layer dip. You know, like the layer dip that's like a layer of guacamole and then like a layer of like salsa and then like refried beans and like sour cream and then there's cheese on top. I like those. Those are tasty. But like I can never justify buying a whole one because like the containers are always so big, right? And sometimes it's like, I just want to eat this once. I don't need like a whole container, but I can't justify buying the whole container. And also they're kind of expensive. I know I could probably just make one myself. Maybe I should make one myself. Because like I don't know, the one at the grocery store was like $10, which is kind of ridiculous. But on the other hand, I'm not sure if it would be cheaper to like buy all the ingredients. Like, would it be cheaper to buy like a pre-made guacamole and then salsa and then refried beans and then like I don't know if it'd be cheaper to like buy all the stuff separately and then layer it myself. Eat the whole container and call it dinner. No, but like the other thing too is you can't just eat it on its own. You have to have like corn chips. Like you have to have something to eat it with, right? Yeah, 7-layer dip seems like a lot of effort to make on your own. Well, I don't know. 7 layers maybe pushing it. I usually, personally, I just go for like 5. But yeah. Eat the whole container with chips and call it dinner? No! I have to be eating healthy. I have been relatively successful with dieting recently. And I intend to continue. My goal is... I don't really have a goal. Well, I mean, I have a goal weight, but like a deadline. I don't have a deadline for it, I guess. I feel like with dieting, it's probably better not to have a deadline because like I feel like every time I've been like, oh, I want to lose like 10 pounds by the summer, then like I never hit it and then I get sad. Because it turns out that like your body, no matter how much exercise and you do and like how healthy you eat, your body can only burn fat so quickly. It's beans, fruits, and veggies. How unhealthy is it really? I mean, I guess to be fair, there are worse things. Like, compared to other kinds of dips, like, I'd say compared to, like, ranch dip, it's probably healthier than that, right? I know my mom would make one sometimes homemade. And she put, like, a layer of, she put a layer on top of, lettuce. Like, she put, like, a layer of, like, iceberg lettuce on top to give it a little more texture. And I kind of like that. Which is technically a vegetable, so. I don't know. Maybe on top of my soup quest, I also need to be, like, sauce quests. Like, lately, sometimes when I go to, like, a fast food place, if there's, like, a specific sauce I like, I've been, like, looking up, like, recipes for it, or see if people have made, like, healthier variations. Because there's a lot of sauces, like, especially ones that are, like, mayonnaise-based. I've seen people, make a version that will be, like, or they swap out the mayo for, like, yogurt, like, plain yogurt or something. And, like, obviously it has a different flavor, but, like, I guess it's close enough. It's close enough and it has a fraction of the calories, right? I feel like lately I've been, like, looking up recipes like that. I'll be like, I like this. But, like, a tablespoon is, like, somehow 100 calories. Is there a way to have it not do that? It's actually not that different. It's mostly texture. 20 calorie versus 200. Yeah, I guess it is texture. I feel like there is a bit of a flavor difference. But, like, I guess some things, like mayonnaise, I feel like you can sometimes substitute. I think it's sour cream. Sour cream being substituted for yogurt, I feel like usually works fine. But mayonnaise is like, it depends. It really depends. But, like, I don't know. I've made good, like, chicken salad before with using Greek yogurt. That's pretty tasty already. I should probably do that again. Actually, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should make that this week. I haven't made chicken salad in a while. And I think I have a bunch of chicken thighs in the freezer. Maybe I can take a couple out and make it with that. Because I think I made it, last year I used to make it all the time. I made it like all the time to the point I just like burnt out on it, and then I didn't eat it for like a year. I'm like, oh right, I did enjoy that. Yeah, for a while I portioned out little 2-ounce plastic cups of yogurt to use in place of mayo when I went to a local diner. Pretty quick I forgot them in the fridge and just got used to no mayo, so it worked out. Yeah, again, I'm like, usually I was not like a person putting big dollops of mayo on my stuff to begin with. So it's not like the worst thing ever to go without. Okay, you win. Oh. Corporate wins. Corporate wins. Nanora and Alto losent. Eggy loses. Eggy loses. Eggy loses. Someone disparaging me. No, here's the thing. I'm not saying mayo is bad. I still like mayo. I just don't use a ton of it. Because, like, healthy reasons. Sometimes mayo is worth it. Sometimes things that have lots of calories are worth it. But sometimes they're just not. So I've become more maybe not picky. I've become more particular about my use of mayo, you know? I would say the Japanese mayo at the store. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough. Honestly, I don't think it requires that much bravery. It's not that different from regular mayo. I think it's just like slight difference. I think it's more of a texture difference than like jar mayo. Because I think the thing is that like, okay, actually no, it is a pretty big texture difference, I think, because like Kewpie mayo is creamier, whereas I feel like a lot of like jar mayo, like Hellmann's and stuff, is like, it's almost vaguely gelatinous somehow. But yeah, Kewpie mayo, you wouldn't regret it. I don't think you'd regret it. It's pretty tasty. It's yummy. If you try it, you'll understand why in Japan they use it on like everything. Made a giant bone-in ham for Easter. It's been amazing. I'll be eating it for at least another day. Ham. It's been a while since I had ham. I guess I'm not the biggest ham fan. Like, I guess I'll have it at, I think I had some at Christmas, maybe? I don't know. For some reason, my family, at least my dad's side, they always do, like, two things. Like, they always do, like, a ham, and then they do a turkey. I don't know why they usually do both. Like, to me, I'm just like, isn't that just more work? But, I don't know. I guess it's somehow worthwhile. I'm a turkey preferer. Turkey preferer. I don't know. I think I do prefer turkey over... I mean, because like, I'm not a huge turkey person either. But I definitely think I do prefer turkey over ham. Yeah. Both is interesting. Usually Christmas alternates. I don't know if there was like some disagreement in the past. Like if they were like, oh, we can't agree, so we'll just do both. I mean, to be fair, usually the turkeys that they do is like the butterball one. So it's not like you need like a full turkey sitting in there for like 5 hours, but yeah. Because like I know usually my mom's side of the family in Quebec, they would do a turkey, but they also would do the thing where they spend the entire day standing in the kitchen, like looking at the oven. So yeah. I don't know, it's been a long time actually now that I think of it. Oh boy, it's bordering on like 10 years since I've gone to visit my mom's side of the family. Because it's like, yeah, I could go there. If I wanted to go there, I'd probably have to go with my mom. Because like, they live in an area that you can't really access without a car. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure my mom would take me if I wanted to. Because it has been a very long time. I think the last time I went was probably maybe like 2017. Like, I've definitely seen my mom's side of the family since then. But it's usually they were coming to visit us. Like, it wasn't us going there. Yeah. I think quality of the turkey plays a big role. If it's dry aged and no spice, it's awful, but a good roast spiced turkey is good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the kinds that my family usually gets. I know one year, I think a few years ago for Christmas, instead of a turkey, my parents, they got like a smoked chicken. Like, I think they knew somebody, they had like friends of a friend that was like knew a poultry farmer that had smoked chickens, and that one was good. That was good. It was like chicken, but like it was different enough that if it was like, yeah, this is the special occasion chicken. And it was probably easier for my mom to prepare than trying to do a full turkey, so that too. All right, I think this game will be the last game, so if anybody else would like to jump in, this one will probably be the last one. Yeah, I should try goose or duck sometime. I've tried duck before. I don't think I've tried goose. I've had duck a few times. I don't think I have strong opinions on duck. I think the last time I had duck, it was like in... Oh yeah, I went to like a congee place. And they had like a duck congee, and it was okay. Like, I don't know. It was like a duck congee that I've had there, and then there was a seafood one. But I think I like the seafood one more. Like, somehow the flavor of the fish actually, like, feels like it's present in all of the congee. But somehow the duck one, it's like, you have a bunch of, like, it feels like it's, like, congee with chunks of duck in it. And, like, the flavor of the duck doesn't really mix in anywhere. If that makes sense? Yeah. Duck is good, very gamey, but good. Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't think I've had... I'm trying to remember the last time I've had duck outside of that. I don't have it very often. Actually, maybe I had some in... Oh, you know what? I think it was when I was in Japan. I think at one point I went to visit Kobe Chinatown, and I think I had duck there. Yeah, right, because I remember it was duck and it was in like a steam bun type thing. Oh yeah, because I remember I was dumb and I accidentally almost walked away with their wax, because they had, you know how they had like, how restaurants in Japan will have like those wax versions of the food on display, so you like know what you're getting. But I was foolishly, like, this stall had, they had, like, the wax version of their food, but they had it displayed in a way that I thought, because, like, some stalls would have a bunch of pre-made stuff, and then you would just, like, pay, and then you'd pick one up and go, right? So I assumed it was the same for, like, this stall that was selling, like, these, like, duck bun type things. And, so yeah, I, like... Because, yeah, earlier I had a skewer that was like that, where it's just like, you know, they have a bunch of them made, and then, like, you pick one up, and then you pay, and then you walk away and eat it, right? So I assumed it was the same thing, so I almost, like, I didn't realize that they were going to, like, make one, so I, like, paid for one, and then I, like, almost, like, picked up the wax one and walked away with it. I almost ate the wax one. How much longer are you going for? This will be the last game. So once this game is done, then I'll be done, I think. Yeah, do you not have wax foods in Canada? Not really, no. The only places I know of that do wax foods are either Japanese restaurants or restaurants that are trying to establish the vibe of a Japanese restaurant. Oh, what are you owing about? It's almost 11 p.m. Yeah. I have a feeling you like to say wax because it sounds similar to a whack. What are you on about? Wax. Wax foods. Wax. Yeah, if it somehow doesn't start when I get home from work, I'll join. I don't know. It depends. It depends on how eager people are to zhong. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to say wax a different way? Like, do I have to, like, make it sound less a wacky? Wax. 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 I am Uma-ing. Uma-ing. Uma. Forms. I think my account got deleted. I'm sorry, what? You're sure the game isn't... Oh, in Seoul. Okay, I got scared for a second. I'm like... Did you... I thought you just said you got new horses. I refuse to play Mahjong until you fix your sleep schedule. Look, I'm trying. I am legitimately trying. The last few nights, this past weekend was like unusual circumstances. We're back to the normal circumstances. We're back in normal circumstances, so it should be normal. If I lost my Uma, check the news in America tomorrow that what happens will be biblical. Like, never lose an Uma. Right after bro would have had, like, Smart Falcon for, like, 5 minutes before losing her. Forms. Wonder if I should, like, sew a cosplay, since I have time and access to a sewing machine. I'd have to buy fabric, though. And figuring out patterns. It's been a while since I sewed anything. I'll praise you if you wake up properly the next day. You think I just operate for your satisfaction? Do you think that is do you think that is the only reason? Oh, I just like launched my pen across the room. Whoops. I lunched it. Did you see the new Say in Sky? She's got kind of an OG vibe going. Was that the one that has like the break dancing? Is that the one where she's break dancing? Is that the new one? What do I have to try to motivate you to do something? I don't know, man. It's the intrinsic motivation. There's nothing you can do. There's legitimately nothing you can do. The news story is like a DJ thing. Ah, okay, that's why she's breakdancing. I was like, I don't know. I feel like if you would have asked which Uma can breakdance, I feel like Say and Sky probably wouldn't have been my first answer, you know? But yeah. Sleeping and a whacking. If you ask me what horse can breakdance, I call the funny hospital people. Well, look, I don't know. Which Uma? What are you dancing capore? I don't know what that is. And I also am not the greatest dancer. This is probably the most difficult part of wanting to be idol VTuber, is knowing that one day I could have to dance, and I will not be particularly good at it. A traditional Japanese dance. Why do you ask? Why do you ask? Dancing is like 90% confidence. Well, I think the thing is, okay, I think for me is, it's not just like dancing, because I like dancing, you know, at a dance, right? At the club. Like, freestyle dancing is different than like dancing choreography, you know? Because the thing with choreography for me is that, like, I guess it's a bit like how, you know how like some people will say that they're like tone deaf, but they're not really tone deaf, right? Like they can identify a melody, they just can't reproduce it with their voice. And I feel like it's like, I'm a bit like that, but with movement, right? In the same way that some people can hear a melody and like know the melody, like they can identify, yeah, like these are the notes, but like they can't sing it back. Like, if I see a dance, I can't reproduce it with my own body easily. I have to be, like, taught the steps, or I have to have access to, like, a very slowed down, mirrored version, and even then I'm probably gonna struggle with it a bit. Like, a long time ago, I tried to learn a few Love Live dances. Like, I learned part of Snow Halation. I think I tried to learn a bit of Start Dash, but, like, I didn't get very far, and it took me a long time to even learn the small parts that I did. Like, I feel like I kind of envy people who can just, like, watch a video, like, they'll just watch the TikTok, and they're like, okay, I know what to do. Like, I don't have that skill. I don't have that skill. Yeah. Apparently Pippa had been absolutely dreading it, any performing on stage. Because, like, again, singing, fine. Singing while moving around a little bit, like, singing, I guess, maybe not choreography, but with, like, blocking, you know? Like, at this point in the song, move to this part, you know? That, I don't mind. That, I can live with. Easy. Actually having to dance, choreography, very difficult. Very difficult. Not scary, but, like, very difficult. Especially if I have to do it with other people. Because then if you screw up, then it becomes obvious, you know? At least when you're doing it on your own, you're not surrounded by, like, you know, other people who are potentially doing it correct, so everybody can see that you're doing it wrong, you know? I'm actually doing a list of your sins and compiling it together in a nice list. What, like, you gonna give it to me for my birthday? Most idols aren't actually on the music, they're just on a click track and memorize the clicks and have voices in their ears saying which part is what. Yeah, but it's like different for singing. For choreography, I feel like you actually have to remember the movement. I knew the second you said you learned a Love Live song was Snow Halation. Well, I mean, yeah, it's one of the most popular Love Live songs. But also, it's probably because that was also, like, because it's one of the most popular ones, it's one of the easiest ones to find, like, choreography videos for it. So, it was kind of that, too. They practice for a living. Yeah, but, like, they can still learn faster. Like, here's the thing. I had lots of friends in high school who were, like, good at dancing. In the sense that, like, they could learn a dance in like, an afternoon. And they wouldn't need, like, for me, it's like, what would take them maybe an afternoon to learn, I would need to be practicing, like, for several hours a day, every day for, like, a week. And even then, I still would not be doing it as good as they are. So, like, I've known people who are, again, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you explain it to me, I can do it. But you gotta really be patient and take time and explain it to me. You know? It's not intuitive to me at all. But I know there's people who are like that for music, right? So... But also, then again, I feel like if someone's a bad singer, if it's a recording, it's a lot easier to fix that. If someone's a bad dancer in a recording, it's a lot harder to work around that. Yeah, as long as you keep doing that, you'll never be able to reach anything you want. It's like dancing. But then again, it would always make me happy when I would see, like, VTuber performances, like, especially, like, Hololive girls who are doing, like, they're performing, but their choreography is, like, the typical, like, idol step, like, just, like, something very simple. I'm just like, oh, thank God. Taishi, please. Taishi. We're like knocking on your door here. Ah, thank you. But yeah, do you enjoy the grind? If so, then who cares? I guess. I feel like the grind for that kind of thing is more enjoyable with other people, though. I feel like the dance grind, trying to do the dance grind alone is a little... not as fun. Another one to the list. Sins. Like a Google Doc? Are you writing these down by hand? Yeah. I was thinking if I want to change that to... ah, okay. Yeah. Both is fun, can't do both at the same time, yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, singing and dancing, some people... well, I don't know, singing and dancing... it's possible to do both at the same time, you just have to have realistic expectations about what that's going to, like, look and sound like, you know? Sweet gift, a half calligraphy book of all your shortcomings. With illustrations. It was like illustrations of me failing to do things. But yeah. Because like singing and dancing, because the thing with singing is that you need to be able to maintain like steady breath, which is very difficult to do while dancing. How idol groups accomplish this is usually a mix of like strategic choreography and probably some extent of lip syncing, depending on the group and the song. Because like I know in K-pop there's a lot more lip syncing involved, but there's also a certain level of like, you know, if someone's hitting a high note, you don't have them moving around. You'll have everybody else moving around, and then they will stand there and hit their high notes, and then join back into the choreography once they're done with that, right? Yeah, breath control training goes crazy. A lot of it is just if you do enough aerobic exercise, you'll get better at it. I'm sure there's probably specific exercises that can help with it specifically. But I also think another thing that, and again, this is something you can't really do on your own, but like, I feel like something I've seen with idol groups as well is if you have everybody, if you have a big group, are you kidding me? If you have a big group and they're all singing the same thing at the same time, the individual flaws of each person's performance, like singing performance, won't be as obvious, right? So I feel like that's like another way that you can get away with it is if you get like everybody to sing at the same time. Because like that's kind of how a choir works, right? Like unless somebody is like super, super off, you usually don't hear like every individual shake of the voice when someone's singing in a choir. But yeah, breathing timing is hard. But I mean, that said, I feel like with pop music, breathing timing is a little less, even for big groups, is usually a little less specific. Like, when it comes to classical music with like choirs, oftentimes they will be very, very specific about where you should breathe. Because they want people to be able to breathe in sync. And I feel like when it comes to like pop idol music type stuff, usually that's not as big of a concern because either there's gonna be music going and nobody can hear it anyway, or it just doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't affect the sound. It does bother me a little though sometimes, because like, being able to sync everyone's breathing is something you can only really do live. So there has been times where I've listened to like a performance where everybody recorded their performance separately and the breathing is all out of sync. And like somewhere in me is like a choir director that's screaming, but also like you can't really control for that when everyone's submitting their part separately, right? Because like usually when they, for all the projects I've been a part of, usually when they send out demo tracks, like it's just the singing, right? Like they don't include the breathing as part of that, so you just have to like guess, right? Big skill hand. Look at Mr. Corporate Lobbying Group. Look at you winning at everything. 1 bajillion points to corporate. 1 billion points billionaire. The Hatch Company is once again bankrupt. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Ooh, fortunate. Maybe. Fortunate. Yeah, yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Sometime at some point this weekend. I finished playing Tales of Symphonia for the first time. And then I watched part of the anime. I haven't finished the anime. But I watched some of the anime. The anime is interesting because I feel like it's like an example of something that's like well directed but not well written. Because the Symphonia anime is like, it's very much something that's made for people who have already played the game. I would not recommend watching the Symphonia anime if you haven't played the game, because not only will you spoil yourself on many things, but also half of it is not going to make sense. But it looks really good, is the thing. Like, I'm trying to think, when did it come out? Like 2006, 2007? I don't know. I remember just being like watching it and being like, nothing will ever look as good as this because nothing ever needs to look as like any better than this. I don't know if that makes sense. But like, I don't know. It was one of those things I remember when watching like the combat in it is just how like so one of the reasons why I feel like I can't really get into a lot of action anime now is like I feel like we've hit a point with a lot of combat where I feel like it's no longer readable, if that makes sense. Like I feel like my brain will see like people throwing punches and kicks on the screen, but like there's so much stuff going on that I feel like I can no longer keep track of what's actually happening. And I know that that's like the current style, but like again, I guess watching older anime is like they've kind of pulled like it feels restrained compared to now, but also it means I can actually follow what's going on. Yeah, they get used to it since Mappa's so successful. Everyone tries to. Is it a Mappa thing? Is that like a thing? I feel like I feel like this was a problem from like long. Okay, corporate. Yeah, I feel like this was like a thing since like long before Mappa was like the big studio everybody was trying to emulate. But yeah, of just like, what if we put every particle effect on screen at the same time? And like this was before that was possible. And it's like so much more readable. Yes, UFO Table is another guilty one. I think this one, I think the Tales of Symphonia, I think UFO Table has done all the Tales of anime, right? I think. But I think this was like before that was like they were known for throwing particle effects at everything. I mean, okay. To be fair, I know with Ufotable is one of the ones where okay, maybe this is like my own specific complaint, but like it really bothers me when somebody is like, oh, this anime looks good because it had a big budget, and I feel the need to come in and be like, actually, it's because of the compositing. Actually, this is due to the director, the direction. This director has also directed this other, show. Actually, like, I wouldn't say I'm like an expert, but like at least I've like acquired some kind of knowledge over time of some things that make anime look good or less good. I'm gonna bet $100 to defend the first season of Chainsaw Man. It looked fine to me. I don't have strong feelings about the first season of Chainsaw Man. I guess I can understand why people might like it and why people might not like it. Like, it was going for something different. It was going for something different than a lot of anime. I don't have strong feelings about it, really. I know that in Japan they didn't like it, but I know in the US they really did. And like, I kind of understand why, because I remember some people saying like they're very much trying to take like a American film kind of style to it. Which, I mean, is fitting for it, I think. But yeah, I can see why maybe in Japan there was less, people were less satisfied with it. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess it's just like, this is my complaint alone of like, it really bugs me when people say like, oh, this anime looked good because it had a big budget. Because like, yeah, big budgets can help and big budgets can like do stuff, but like, I feel like it's almost insulting to the animators to be like, this looks good because they threw a lot of money at it, right? Because there are certain things in animation that like no amount of money is going to save you from, right? Like, there are just things you can't spend your way out of. Senior management hates her. Well, it's true. It's like, I don't want to just be like skill issue, but like there are certain things that you can't, there are problems that cannot be solved by with budget alone. Well, rest in peace. Okay. Yeah, Invisible's hilarious because they outsource it to a Chinese company, which then outsources it again to a Korean studio. Oh my god, there was a... Oh god, I can't remember what it was called. I never watched it, but I remember seeing screenshots of it, and people were, like, talking about, like, how this happened. There was an anime, I can't remember what it was called. It was, like, an anime about, like, a bunch of, you know, anime boys in a band. And I think it was one of those productions that was, like, outsourced, and there was just, like, zero communication between all the different studios it got outsourced to. So you had a lot of these, like, weird, like, it was, like, an unintentionally surreal anime. Because you'd have shots where, like, for instance, the characters would look like they're, like, insanely short because there was, like, no communication between the people animating the characters and the people who drew the backgrounds. So just, like, nothing is to scale. Stop, I'm already dead. Not yet. Not yet, you aren't. Yeah, so I can't remember what it was called. I'll have to find it again. But yeah, it was just like one of those things where it was like outsourced in so many directions, and I guess there just like was not anybody who was like holding it together. And as a result, it's just like this absolutely bizarre looking show. But yeah, that's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, you can't fix that. That's not the kind of thing you can, that's the only thing you can fix with like good planning and people who know what they're doing, right? You can't fix that by just throwing more money at it. Hey Eggy, what is it this time? Seems things are going great. In what sense? What do you know that I don't? Impending information. Do you plan to finish that thought, Faye? This is only the kind of thing you say when you're about to follow it up with something bad. Faye's like doing the equivalent of like, you know when people in stories where they're about to foreshadow that something bad is about to happen and they're like, I hope things can stay like this forever. I'm gonna start saying that. You know what? I need to start saying that at just like random times. Like anytime stuff is going well for me, I just need to be like, I hope things stay like this forever. Man, guys, I'm having such a good time. I wish things could be like this every day. Just constantly, like, attempting to raise death flags on purpose. We'll be together forever, right? Yeah, definitely, and nothing will ever change. Well, I guess things can only go uphill from here, right? We're gonna have like a bunch of foreshadowing here. Give me tile. Give me tile. Yummy tile. And someone says, all the stars in the sky are shining for... I'm assuming this is a reference to something I'm not familiar with. Okay, I hope this isn't a mistake. No! It was a mistake! It was a mistake! Ooh. Ooh. I foreshadowed too hard. I foreshadowed too hard. Still East 2, and we have 2 different people under 10K. Unbelievable. Ooh. And they had to leave me at 6,900. They couldn't even have like the decency to get like another extra 200 points. At least put me at the funny number. Put me at the funny number. Put me at 700 points. I had an interview today. Oh, nice and good. I had an interview last week. It went well, nice and good. I hope you get hired for desired position. I had an interview last week, but I haven't heard back yet, so I'm assuming I didn't get it. They said end of week, but then I totally forgot about, like, Easter weekend. So, I don't know. If I don't hear back from them by the end of tomorrow, then I'm just gonna assume I didn't get the position. Which is fine. Which is fine. Like, I kind of didn't expect, because I was, the interview I went to was actually, like, the second, like, it was, like, the second interview, which I didn't actually expect to make it past the first round of interviews, so, I mean, you know what? Yeah. Yeah. Make sure to give you a proper finale. The finale where I receive the book of all the things that I'm doing wrong. It's a novel at this point. I don't know, Book of Sins? Maybe there is a story that has this already. Okay! We're dead. We're just dead. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is illegal. This is illegal. I think corporate is committing crimes. This has got to be, this is white collar crime somehow. I'm gonna call this white collar crime if it's corporate doing it. Okay, I'm desperate enough. I'm desperate enough. And the game dev joins the room. Ah, yes. The spy from the Mahjong Soul dev team. Secret professional genre. Oh, that's a bad thing. My tablet died. Oh no! Is it like is it like fixable, or are you just planning to get a new one? Oh yeah, do you guys know if, actually sorry, I was thinking about tablets. Do you guys know if Apple Pen is compatible with iPad 5? I'm sorry for you just using you as Google now. Because I know somebody was like, oh yeah, you should use your iPad. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a bad idea, but I need to find out if that's like an actual doable thing. Which pen? Oh, is there multiple kinds of Apple Pens? Okay, I'm dead. Finally. It's over. It's over. Everything is fine from now on. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. The great corporate war is over. Sorry about the reign of terror. It's all good. It's all good. Yes, thank you, DK, and thank you, Taishi. And, I mean, congratulations, I guess, to corporate, who has now beaten us into sludge. But yeah, no, I didn't, I refuse to use Apple. I mean, the iPad I got because it's like my dad's old iPad. My mom got a new iPad, so she gave my dad her old iPad, and then I got my dad's old iPad. So, again, I did not intentionally come by an Apple device, but I was offered one, so I'm like, you know what? Okay, sure. Yes. Thank you for playing. Even though I was not very zhonging tonight. I did not zhong very well. I want to personally congratulate you for talking about the things you like. I can take it out of the sin list for now. Thank you. No, I don't know. Somehow, like, I'm sure that someone's written a story with this, but I feel like some Book of Sins sounds like it would be like something. Like, I feel like it would be something you find in like a death game, right? Like, I'm sure, like, someone's Book of Sins, like, somebody put, like, a book, and it's, like, it lists every misdeed that you've done, like, past, present, and future. And, like, that's, like, a thing that's hanging over everyone's head. Sounds like FMA. Is that something? Again, this doesn't sound like an original enough idea to not have been done before. But, like, this sounds like something that would, like, show up in, like, some kind of, I don't know, death game story, maybe? It's, like, a thing that's, like, hanging over someone's head. Or, like, I don't know, maybe something happens if someone else reads your Book of Sins. Or maybe they might, like, someone might read your Book of Sins and try to, like... I guess maybe it's, like, knowledge of the future, because maybe it would, like, list... Damocles? Maybe. Where it's, like, here's everything you will ever do wrong. And it would somehow, like, affect the future. Someone knows about, like, future misdeeds that they might commit. Or maybe they're, like, trying to hide their past from someone else. I'm sure that story exists probably already. Someone's probably made it. I'll read you your sin list for your birthday. You're just gonna make, like, a Google Doc. It's like, this is a call out, not for anything she did wrong to another person, but just, like, things she's doing wrong in general. It will 100% ruin your birthday. Unhappy birthday to you. I hope you have a miserable birthday. Sin clap review. Sin review. This is Running on Eggy. Sin review. Okay. But yes, thank you for zhonging. Thank you for zhonging. I'm sorry for not being very winning today, but there's always next time. This week, I NiceEggy, endeavor to actually play Zelda again. I'm sorry, Zelda seems to have just fallen to the bottom of the priority list every time I've been like, every time something comes up, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm canceling Zelda. But yes, I will Zelda this week, I promise. As for other streams, I don't know. I know today I considered, I'm like, what if I did, like, movie watch along on Discord? Because I was like, it would be seasonally appropriate to watch the third Knives Out, because that one actually, like, takes place at Easter. Like, so I'm like, but then, I don't know, I guess maybe the moment's passed. But, I don't know. Earlier I was joking about the, like, studying for driving exam stream, but I kind of might want to do that. I kind of want to try doing that. Maybe I will actually do that. But yes, Zelda will happen. Do not worry. Do not worry. If Zelda doesn't happen, then you can worry. But if it happens, then don't, okay? Do not. But let me see who's live. Well, I don't know, you see the other corner of your floor. Well, no, it's because it's like the first part of it is like the written exam, right? And I know that it's going to make people argue in the chat. I was saying earlier, it would make people argue because, like, I know all of you guys live in different places that all probably have, like, slightly different driving laws. So I'm like, I know that, like, there's going to be some question about, like, oh, yeah, what is a correct, you know those ones on the where it's like, here's an intersection, which one of these people should turn right first? And, like, I'm sure everyone's going to argue about that. I'm gonna pick an answer and it's gonna say correct, and then everybody else is gonna be like, no. No. Eggy, I don't have a driver's license. Well, neither do I. That's why I would need to study for it. Let's see who's on, though, that is rateable. Annoyingly, you also have to know exact demerit points for infractions. Wait, really? Why though? Isn't that the police's job? Like, they're the ones pulling you over if you break a rule. Then there are the questions where you can either be correct or survive. Well, I mean, I guess there are some that are simple enough, right? Like, you know, the stop sign probably means stop. If there's a sign that says, you know, speed limit 40, you should probably not go faster than 40, you know? I suppose the theory is if you know the demerits, you'll be deterred from doing the thing. Yeah, but it's illegal regardless, isn't it? Does it make a difference at that point? But let's see who we can raid. Let's see. Bubba's doing ASMR. Oh, Soy is on. Soy milk. Ashton. Bloom. Almatis. No, I think we can raid into Soy milk. We can raid into Soy milk. Yeah, let's raid into Soy milk. What is she doing? It says coding stream, but this looks more like karaoke to me. She's got the microphone up. I have it on mute, so I don't actually know what she's doing. No, this is definitely karaoke. This is definitely karaoke. What is happening? I guess we'll raid into Soy. We will raid into Soy. Oh wait, no, maybe this is oh no, this is a BRB screen. I'm dumb. I am foolish. I'm foolish. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm very smart egg. Very smart eggy. Very smart eggy. You know this because I'm wearing glasses. Very smart. Okay. It's a BRB screen. We can raid. I will raid, in fact. Wear your glasses to your driving exam? I'm pretty sure legally, I'm not sure if I know my mom, actually, if she wants to drive, she legally has to have glasses or contacts on. I don't know if my eyes are bad enough for that to happen. Sometimes it feels that way. Maybe I am. Let's see. All right, what are we saying? Losing at Mahjong raid. Losing at Mahjong raid. After that, I feel like that is a worthwhile raid message. So, let us do that. Losing at Mahjong raid. I will see you later this week. Probably Wednesday. If not Wednesday, then it will be a different day. I promise Zelda will happen. This is an Eggy promise. Unless something explodes, there will be Zelda. Zelda will happen. But for now, Zelda is not happening. Raid Soy Milk is happening. And Eggy end card is happening. And au revoir is happening. And leaving is happening. Au revoir. Bye-bye.